live from Mississippi. Oh, it's a beautiful place to be right now. Y'all, the garden, y'all look out here. I done been getting ready to plant my peas all out there. I have been tilling, and that is a mud hole, let me tell you now. It come a rain last night. I'm talking about a chunk floater. I don't know how many inches of rain we got, but it rained a good bit. Uh, so I cut that under, and it's gonna have to dry, and I'm gonna cut it under again tomorrow. But y'all, man, the garden is looking good down here behind us. I worked in it yesterday some, and then a little bit today. I finished putting straw in that whole bed above that retaining wall I built. Grass is cut. I like it with my grass cut. I have got to go work on my weed eater, but I had something else I had to work on this afternoon. I'll let Uncle Sasquatch tell y'all. I was texting him to check on him. In case you didn't know, Uncle Sasquatch is home from the hospital. Oh, so that is good news. Everybody was keeping him in their prayers this week, and God is good to us. He took care of Uncle Sasquatch. So what I'm finna do is cut up some chicken breast right here, and then I got some rice, and I got a few peppers, and I may put one of them eggs over in it. I don't know. And we're gonna basically have some chicken fried rice. That is the plan. Now, I am gonna season it. Y'all check out these new. I got 3 of these in the mail. If y'all, you see that is just as cool as it gets. And if you're interested in some of this kind of stuff, like these utensils, you see this box over here? It's got laser etched my logo in the top of it. The utensils have it. The cup that I have is Joey over there in Georgia can make that stuff for you. It's M4 Laser Works. Email him, tell him you want some of that stuff if you're interested in it, and he'll hook you up. But he sent me these things, and y'all, they just, I mean, it's as cool as it gets. So I've got them filled up with seasoning. I got pepper in this one, salt in this one, and then on the back of all of them it says eat 'em raw. Well, this has my eat 'em raw seasoning in it. So that's probably what I'm going to. So I've got the Blackstone firing up, and I'm going to cut this chicken up pretty small. I got my little old bitty cooking kitchen knife here. I don't know, y'all. I like cutting up stuff this big. I was gonna make me a meat cleaver, and I'm still going to at some point. But I like this big Bowie knife for whatever reason. Partly because it's just different, and then it's just me, you know. You see a lot of people these days, they got this stuff, this thing they call when something is trending. Well, when something's trending, that means everybody's basically just copying what somebody else come up with. Nobody out there got an original thought for amount to nothing. Well, I don't like that kind of stuff. If somebody else is doing something, I'll just about do it a different way just because. Not because I don't think their way's no good. It just, I mean, they done proved that works. I want to do it the way I like to do it. So anyway, I'm cutting up chicken breast. And y'all, you got to tell me that had to be one whopper of a chicken now. Don't you know he could rear back and crow big breast as he got? I finally got some of mine down there shut up this evening. I done about learned you wait on feeding them to right before you gonna go filming and do something, and then you run out there and feed them right quick, and they'll get their mouth full, and they won't be standing out there hollering the whole time. If you feed them in the morning and then wait till this evening to film, they'll be out there squawking and screaming and hollering. But that's why a lot of times I be filming in the morning, know I'm gonna feed them in the evening, they'll be out there screaming the whole time. And y'all, if I don't shut up, I ain't never gonna get this chicken cut up, am I? Old Roscoe coming through. Where you been, son? What you been out there getting into? seeing if that cooker was hot. It ain't real hot yet. It's alright. She's down there rat hunting. If y'all hear her get excited, she went out there with me and Brody one night shooting rats, and now she done took to that rat hunting. She sits out there at night by that chicken coop, watching for one. The cat used to sit out there, and the dog done took the cat's job. I guess she thought the cat wasn't doing good enough. Cause that cat can come round out there. I turn y'all around. She right over this gas pump. See her sitting right there? If that cat goes slipping out there, cat used to hunker down and sit out there and wait for one of them rats to come slipping out. A dog runs the cat off, and the dog's sitting out there now. She was trying to get my attention and tell me she was out there is what she was doing. Alright, we finally got all that right there whittled up. Let's see. We're going to put a little bit of salt on it. I better take this plastic lid off. No, that ain't the salt there. I'm going to have to take me a Sharpie right on there a little bit. What? That's that eat 'em raw. We're going to go heavy with it. I'm going to hit it again with it when I get it over on that. But I do like it's got that plastic thing on the top for me putting it out here. And then I might as well, while I got it, go ahead and use all of it. We're going to put a little black pepper on it. All right. Let me arm y'all around over here where you... I know y'all like to look. All right, hang on. I'm going to lay my cutting board right up there. It'll take that heat. That ain't one of them little flimsy cutting boards. It'll take your pressures. Come on. That's some olive oil. That is what we're going to cook with tonight. And then I have got a little bit of sesame oil here. I'm going to add to it when I get organic sesame. I ain't never cooked with that. They say don't put but a smidgen. Y'all know how much a smidgen is? Look, I'm going to have to turn these legs around just a little bit because I got to walk right here now, okay? Make sure my spatula is good and clean. I'm using my rags. I ain't using my britches legs tonight. Hate to burn a good pair of britches right here and wiping stuff on them. But I do it a lot. Try to get where y'all can see a little of both sides here. I got a few vegetables right here. I don't know what kind of peppers these is she come up with. I'm going to slice them a mite thin. And then I'm probably going to whittle them up in small pieces. Yeah. We'll throw that with the stem out. have to make sure that ain't burned in there. I may need to turn it down. A smart man would have cut up everything before he started, but I don't ever do that. I wish I knew what kind of peppers these were. One more. I know y'all enjoying just standing there and sitting there watching me hack up vegetables over here, ain't you? I can't help it. I got to do it. I got to get it done. I'm gonna let my coffee get slam cold. I got another coffee cup sitting right here. This one ain't never been used. It's for sale. Southern Mud Pottery. We just got that now. That is a brand new color that my wife come up with that she likes. Y'all see how part of them hit the ground? Be alright. Clean the blade of that high-dollar knife off. That is a rare knife. I promise you, it's one of one. Ah. Oh, yeah. Oh. Now, which one of these was the red stuff? This. I want to get this chicken pretty close to done. Not done, but I want. In other words, I don't want to burn my. I got rice. See, this rice is already cooked. We cooked it earlier today, put it in the refrigerator. I'm going to keep it separated. That way I can turn this down if I want to. So I'm going to go ahead and start rooking this rice out on here. Right. Now I don't know about this sesame oil, y'all. Some of y'all I ain't got no kind of experience with it. Not none whatsoever. Mike Reed, how are you, my brother? I can't. It's just oil, in my opinion. But we gonna go light on it just because that's what I've heard. Don't put too much of it. I'm sure I'll find out why. All right. Let's go ahead and dump all these. I'll tell you what, I'm going to start with these vegetables over here to the side. And then I'm going to go to mix it all. What I did is we hacked up some carrots real good in that bowl. That is what the orange is. Probably what I need to do is pour a little of this sesame oil under here. There. That way, because it's starting to stick right here. Roscoe, if you're lucky, I'll drop something. Y'all see that 2-second dog waiting there? Ain't no 3-second rule here no more. Roscoe is a 2-second dog. Turn that far up just a hair. Go ahead and bring all of it together. Get us. Well, the wind gonna go to howling, blow my fire out of here. Boy, that come out of nowhere, that breeze. Right there, blow your cap off if you ain't got a good chin strap on it. Now I wanna dust that with a little more salt. That'd be this one. Yeah. And then I done learned. I got me a couple of chicken eggs over here, but I done learned with these yard eggs, you crack them over there to the side because they could be bad. I don't want a lot of eggs in it. I just want a little bit in it. Then I'm gonna mix it all up real good. You know and all and everything like that there. You know and all and everything. Oh, it's gonna be fine. Y'all come on. Yeah. Oh, like Jerry Clower said, you know that's gonna make a puppy pull a freight train. Right there, yes sir. You bite off into it. I tell y'all what we've noticed. Since I've started a cooking out here a lot more, I have known that this old belly of mine is getting quite larger. But that's all right. You ever heard of the term fat and happy? That's me. I'm sure there's some doctor somewhere that'll frown on it. But he'll just have to frown because I won't be the one frowning. Well, I'm making quite a mess. I done lost my rag. I have to be constantly a wiping on stuff out here. Oh Lord, we done got a soldier coming out here with us. Hunting rats. I think you hunt rats every Friday night, don't you? Y'all see all my seasoning is stuck right there. I'm gonna show y'all the trick right here with this water. That water will take that seasoning right up off of there and get it back into your meat here. What, buddy? Talk. Them rats is eating your peas. Well, doggone it, you better kill them. What about them deer? Is them deer gonna eat your peas? They ain't eating your peas. Y'all, I still ain't mastered this rice business on here. You got supposed to use that high dollar jasmine rice. I'm too stingy for that. But I can deal with this. It don't bother me not one bit. So how y'all is tonight? Everybody fat and happy and having a good time, enjoying life in this good hot weather? Larry, what kind of griddles do they got at the old Sam's? Do they have the Blackstones? I watch old Bruce Mitchell. Bruce Mitchell be cooking on one now, got an air fryer in it.
Yeah, I see that rat.
Yeah, well, go get him. And I don't know if I'd use an air fryer or not. One of them things I don't. All right. I would use one. I don't really know. I guess if I had it, but. I'm finna have to go in there and get something to put this in. Happy as can be.
Boy, I see that rat. He's down there, chicken feed, right there. Rat.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be all right. Let me go holler at Mama to bring us out here something to put this in. You got some kind of bowl or pan or something other? I guess I could stick it back off in this boiler. She brought that rice out here, but I hate to do that. Well, that was quite good. It did clump back up on me. We argued about whether you're supposed to rinse it off. Brody, I'm trying to talk to this camera. He don't ever shut up. I wonder where he got that from. But I had decided at some point in life that you were supposed to took that rice in a colander and run water through it and rinsed it. She Googled it and said wasn't supposed to, so I don't know.
Oh, there you go.
So does somebody else out there know? Here. What do you keep doing? All right. Well, look, I tell you what, before I run off and go sit down and go to talking, we better clean this thing right here up a mite. That right there is Roscoe's bike. Roscoe, where you at, son? I bet he went in that door when it cracked open. Where y'all want to bet? I'll put it over here for Roxanne. You want it? One of y'all come eat. No, sir. She ain't gonna leave that. She ain't gonna leave that chicken pen long enough. She's afraid a rat will stick his nose out. That didn't last long, did it? We got that thing a mite warm right now. Turn it down like Shorty. We'll get it down there like Shorty where we can clean it up. Let's do that one more again. Boy, that joker is hot. All right. Now y'all look away. Don't be looking at my nasty rag now. All right, this is an old shirt, but it ain't done nothing but wipe this off. But it's got all this dark grease and whatnot on it. But the rag gets dirty, but the griddle stays clean. Come on, you see what I'm saying? Instead of vice versa. All right. Cut this thing off, and off. And then we're gonna reach down under here and cut the bottle off. Y'all know, we never did put no soy sauce in there. It'll be all right. We probably won't never notice it. What you want to bet? Get us a sod up over here. Will you bring me a plate of it? To the door and I'll come get it. All rightly. Y'all, it is a wonderful day in paradise. In case you didn't know. Let me shake y'all around real good and give y'all a headache and whatnot, you know, and all and everything. See if I can find y'all on this iPad. See what y'all been saying ugly about me. I'm kidding. I know y'all wouldn't. I'd know you wouldn't. View analytics. I don't know if I want to look at no analytics. Let's say not now. I got 25,000 subscribers, it told me. Well, that's wonderful. You want soy sauce on yours? You sure?
A lot of that sesame seed oil.
I put a little of it and a lot. Why? Alright, Mama come brought me a plate right over here. I'm gonna dump. Oh, you ain't supposed to unscrew the lid, my bad. Old redneck don't know how to operate some of this stuff. My daughter's the one, she'll make ramen noodles And she won't put the seasoning in there. She'll just put that soy sauce on there. Hang on just a second here, y'all. Dear Lord, we're so thankful for this food. We pray, Lord, that you'd bless it to the nourishment of our bodies, that it would give us strength and good health. In Jesus' name we ask you. Amen. All right. Now, if my bad cooking's so bad, it won't get me sick. You know what I mean? So let me get this iPad where I can look. So we got a bunch of folks. I see some names I hadn't never seen no whole lot. Welcome, y'all. We do things a little different here. I see a lot of my friends. Good to see all of you tonight. Lord Morris, I do hope it'll turn into a night. I would love for this to get to where all I had to do was YouTube, which I would always do some pottery because I enjoy doing it. But the reason I would like for YouTube I could afford to do it full time, and I ain't talking about getting rich off of it, but if it would just get up to where, if I could ever get to a place that I made about $4,000 or $5,000 a month off of it, which is way down the road, I could quit doing anything else because I don't have no bills. I could live off of that and still be able to do things. You know what I'm saying? Be able to go places and go on fishing trips more and do more overnight camp trips. But like it is, you got to steadily work this pottery to make your living, to do this as a hobby. But the garden and all of the stuff that I got going on around here is a full-time job. And really, y'all, I'm about killing myself to get it all done. And some of it is lacking because of it. Like my chickens, I'm not remodeling pens and keeping them up to date like I should. I don't have time. I got plants out here in the garden. I'm seeing after them, but not really like I ought to really make them flourish like I know I could do. Because you got so much stuff going on, which I plan to fish more this year. My priority is fishing. And I've done a good bit of it this year, but I've yet to go on a good brim fishing or red belly fishing trip. We're going to do that soon. Maybe next week. You know, the bluegill are doing good, but I'd really rather go down there and get on the backside of one of them beaver dams and get in them. They red-breasted sunfish. We call them red bellies. And they about the size of 3 fingers, maybe 4. Oh, and they fine out of that swift water down there. But now I got a dish pan full of catfish right over there that we're going to have a cooking tomorrow night. My sister and them's coming in. They'll come in tomorrow sometime. And we'll have a cooking over there. I doubt I'll film. Might, I don't know. Jennifer, if I had to cut all of this with a push mower, by the time I got through cutting it, I'd have to start right back over, and I'm talking about I wouldn't be able to stop. I ain't no way, but now I'm cutting way more than necessary, probably. But I like to be able to sit here and look out across a fresh mowed lawn. Now I ain't gonna lie. Doggone y'all, if this ain't good. You know, old country boy out here, if he puts his mind to it, he can cook him something up to eat there and get him by, you know. And there's a lot of folks left home and drove somewhere to get somebody else to feed them tonight. How many of y'all did that? Raise your hand. I've done it before. I ain't knocking you. Yeah, now. Y'all out take the cicadas all day. We call them katydids. But now, if they ever have a housefly invasion, I'll go in the house and lock the doors and won't come back out. I don't like no fly. I ain't gonna have it. Alicia Dusty said what was his favorite. I done been on so many conversations. I can't remember what I was talking about. Maiden, how are you tonight? Oh yeah, red bellies. Oh yeah. They are my favorite. Yes, sir. By far the best eating panfish. I like crappie, not because crappie are so good, but crappie is big enough to fillet and they're a lot easier to fool with, and they're fun to catch. But you get on the backside of a beaver dam when that water's a running over it, and you can roll them britches legs up to your knees and stand in that water and get you a hand pole with nothing but the cricket tied on the end of a piece of lead. You don't even need the cork. You can put a cork on there if you want, but you just ease it down in the water. Don't you'll feel him hit it, boy. You come out there, and I mean just fast as you can put a cricket on, you can empty a 300 crickets out of a cage before you can spit. Because half of them's gonna steal your bait now. They good at that. Just be careful about putting them on a stringer. You put them little old red bellies on a stringer and keep putting it in the water, you'll pull that thing up and it'll have a big old water moccasin hanging on the end of it. It'll have that lasting down there about half swallowed. Yeah. You'll either talk to Jesus or say words you ought not when you first see it. So be careful. Y'all, I finally got my own set of plates. I made 4 plates. Yeah, I had to sign the bottom of them, put my name on them to keep her from selling them to somebody else. Because I always get something cracked and dented. Now I got a matching set of plates. Took me forever. I'm talking about I've been doing this for 5 years, y'all. Finally got my own set of plates. I wish y'all had some here. Laid out sausage for breakfast, Larry. Sam Parrott, glad you joined back in. Yellow sucker fillets. Fillets. William Fuller, he took his message back. Breaking out the good china, yeah. Hey, when I'm filming, I like to advertise my pottery. And y'all, I always link Southern Mud Pottery's website in there. You can go on there and about order whatever you want. I'll make it, and we'll send it right to your front door. Now, I can't tell you how many pieces it'll be in when you get it, but I'll start it off in one piece. Sometimes the UPS and the Postal Service and all of them, they kind of feel like they're the Lord, and they'll multiply it, you know, like your loaves and the fishes. Start out as 1, it'll come out in about 100. You know, that's multiplication. They multiplying it, you know. Miss Mary, don't get mad at me. I still love you. I know she's a mail lady, y'all. And a good one. But they can't help it. It ain't them that's doing it. It's when I tell you where it happens. It's when it gets on that big truck And I watch them go down the interstate with that big truck, get them bouncing. They'll run off the side of the road a little bit over there, and they'll get on them rough things, go boom, 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 down there, and they'll jerk it back up the road. It's hard to play on your phone and drive too, so sometimes they run out a little bit. And that's when them boxes get jostled around real good on there, and that's when them pieces start multiplying in there, you know, in that pottery. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You've been riding along behind them on the highway. Which you may not have noticed if you was on your phone. You know. Did I say that out loud? Well, I turned the lights on the situation. I was afraid it was liable to get dark before I get tired of talking. You know, it's normally that way here. I have to be honest with y'all. I watched YouTube a good bit today. But for the last 2 nights I come in, I found something on TV I didn't know even existed. Did y'all know that after Sanford and Son, you know, Red Fox played Fred Sanford? After that show went off the air, Lamont wasn't in it no more, the Son. And they started a new show, and it was just called Sanford. Wasn't no Son on it. And they had this big fat white fella on there that was moved in with him. Y'all, I laughed till I heard. They was episodes I'd never seen before. I didn't know that existed, and I found it on Tubi the other night. So for the last 2 nights, I have reared back in that Stratolounger, propped my feet up out there, you know, like Jerry Clower said, where that air conditioning unit could blow up his pajama leg and down at him. He said he juked the button out of them pajamas where he belly could flop. I didn't have to do that, but I watched me some Fred Sanford, and y'all, he tickles me. I can't help but laugh at that fella. Oh, Lord, Lord. Mary, yeah, you know, it's very rare that you get you a bag of tater chips if they ain't well multiplied. Especially after you've eaten half of them. You get down there toward the bottom and they just keep getting smaller and smaller and smaller. I done about found out if you'll just lick the back of your fingers real good and stick it down in there, most of them will stick to it and you can, you know, kind of graze them off in. Oh, Lord. William, we'll fix you up, my brother. I'm going to be making some more here pretty soon. I got my trips out of the way. I'm probably going to slow down as far as I love to fish and I want to fish a lot. I want to go down in the swamp and do another brim fishing. I really want to get in the kayak or the canoe one and paddle around in these and just fish out of it and just catch brim and red bellies. I want to do that trip, and then I'm going to probably do nothing but bowfin fish from here on, because I'm going to be honest with y'all. These going off on these long excursions, I ain't getting nothing done, and I'm going to have to stay around here for this garden. The next thing is I got some little odd and end things that keeps getting in my pocketbook, and I'm going to have to make some extra money. And I was going to tell y'all, ask Uncle Sasquatch if he's still on here on what I sent him pictures of me doing today. I wasn't going to tell it, but I get tired, I guess, of griping about the same things. I feel like, well, you just whining about, you know, but I got a Polaris Ranger that's eating my lunch. It's money hungry, y'all. That thing, I'm telling you, it's worse than a teenager. But anyway, we're going to make some more knives. I have promised a couple of people some. I keep saying I ain't going to take no orders, but, you know, I feel obligated to make somebody one. I about got everybody covered that I owe, except for one fella. I owe Mr. Tony Parker a knife. I promised him one back last year, and I owe him one. Yeah, Uncle Sasquatch fixing the bug again. Y'all, I got on that thing before we left to go to Tom Bigby, me and Brody was running them bait baskets, and that thing got to growling in the front end and flopping around. And I was like, man, what in the world? I just put bearings in the front of that thing less than 6 months ago, and one of them was busted all to pieces. I will admit now, right here, my fault. I bought the last set of bearings on Amazon. Yeah. So I only put one in one side. I put two in it, and I ordered another whole set, and when they come in, I didn't put but one. I had to replace one of them. So now I've replaced the other one. I feel like that was my fault. The next set of bearings, I'll buy I won't be buying them on Amazon. I'm just gonna tell you, don't. They cheaper. They got me out of a bind, but doggone it, they put me right back in another one. I don't be buying no more Amazon parts. It ain't worth it. I done seen with my own eyes. You know, it's hard for us, especially as men, to admit when we wrong about something. I thought, well, they all cheap stuff, you knock off China stuff, and it may be. But I done proved that this stuff right here that I've been buying off Amazon and putting it on that buggy ain't lasting 2 or 3 months, really, to be truthfully honest with you. So I'm going, the next, and it won't be long, don't worry. Probably by Christmas, I'll be putting bearings back in it, most likely. I'm going to order the next time I do it, and I done got good at it. Asked Uncle Sasquatch, how long did it take me to put them in there? In fact, when I text him, he had texted me at some point this afternoon, and when I pulled the buggy up there and started jacking it up, I pulled my phone out to lay it down, and I seen a message from him, and he had told me he had got out of the hospital and all, and so we sat there and talked back and forth a little bit, and I started tearing it apart right then. And I sent him pictures along as I was doing it. And I'll be doggone, in less than 30 minutes, I had it apart, the bearing beat out of it, the new bearing put in, and it put back together and the wheel back on it. I mean, that's how much I've worked on the thing. I ain't bragging on me. I mean, I'm telling you, that's how much I have worked on something. I knew every size wrench I needed. I jacked that thing up, and with hand tools now, I pulled the 4 lug nuts off, jerked the wheel off. And there ain't but 2 bolts holding the brake caliper on. There's 1 bolt holding the tie rod linkage on. It comes off. There's 2 bolts holding the, and then it comes off, and then the outside nut comes off, and the axle slides out, and you got the whole thing off. I mean, you got it stripped. You can go in there then and beat the bearing out. I'm tired of working on it though. Yeah, on Temu, well, Ken, they're probably the same bearings. I mean, really and truly. Really and truly, they probably are. But here's the problem. The ones that come in it from the factory didn't last but a year or so. I've done worked on this thing. It's a 2015 model, so I guess, dog, it's nearly 10 years old. But Lord help, I got an old Honda 4-wheeler out there that's still in pretty good shape. It don't run, but for the first 15 years it run good, and I could probably fix it and get it running for a little or nothing now, but the structural part of it is in pretty good shape. It needs some bushings in them A-arms and stuff, but $100 would replace all of that stuff. Uncle Sasquatch talking about my lift. I tell y'all what I did. I got them metal trusses, you know, with the zigzag braces in them out there. Well, I got a big, shackle. I mean, it's a big shackle. It's, you know, like this. And I got it up there. I run a chain through it with a loop, and I hook my come-along in there, and I run that come-along down there and hooked it around the other side, just one of them chain come-alongs. And I winched that thing right up off the ground, went to jerking parts off of it. So anyway, and Smokey, I should have went ahead and put both bearings in the last time I was doing it, but I tell you what happened, I was working on so much stuff back then. That is when I was putting the prop shaft joints in it, the yoke, I put all them front bushings in it. I put bearings in one side, and I shook at one. I was like, well, this is still good. And I tell you why I didn't. I had not been long replaced the bearings, And I thought, well, this one malfunctioned, it broke, something busted in it. So I'm just gonna replace that. The other one's still good. It's fairly new, you know, and well, they didn't hold up. And I tell you what happened, the actual steel in them is too hard and it just busted. They're not tempered like they should be, is all that's wrong with them. Because when I took it apart, one side of the inside of that bearing was busted, so it allowed the bearings to wobble over to the side. Well, once they got some play in them, they just really went to flopping around, and they done found them a rat. Get him, Roscoe. Where's he at, boy? They done found him a rat. I need to finish this water off. Y'all, I'm going back to nothing but water diet for the most part, and then coffee. I got a garbage can over there, but I know good and well I ain't gonna hit it, but I got close. I got to shed some pounds, but I'm battling my dehydration. I'll get busy doing stuff, and out here in the yard, I won't think about stopping and drinking water. And I start getting headaches. As I start making these Jonah knives, y'all, I will put them in, most likely instead of putting them on the Etsy store, I had rather sell them where you just send me the money through PayPal, because Etsy's going to take a little cut. So I don't know. John Thomas, that's about where I'm fixing to head, water and coffee. I like a soda pop alone, and I like to keep some in the refrigerator as a treat. But over the last couple of weeks, I have got to drinking too many. I mean, I'm talking about like 2 a day. That's too many for me. And in this heat, as we start, it ain't got bad hot here yet, but it is getting warm. So I need to lose this good. And I figure before gardening season's over, I'll be shed of it. But it has a lot to do with how much cooking I do out here on this back porch, I reckon. We've been eating good, and then when we go on these trips, we carried a bunch of cookies, and I ate a whole pack of cookies. That ain't never good for you. But anyway, I see Miss Mary showed up. We still missing Tommy Litchfield. He ain't got here yet. He'll drag in here in about another 30 minutes. Want to know what we've been talking about. I'm going to tell him we was talking about him. He'll be, just watch. Yeah, storms, Cindy, they hit here last night over about midnight. In fact, I laid down on that recliner and went to sleep in the recliner watching Fred Sanford. And next thing I know, when I woke up, it was around midnight and it was booming outside. So I got up then and went and got in the bed, and I went right on back to sleep. I do know it rained, a pretty good rain. I did not check my rain gauge to see how much it rained. But everything was sopping wet, which was good for the garden. Garden needed the rain. Robin, glad you made it tonight too. I'm glad you enjoy the videos. Ed Smith. Try SKF bearings. Are they that a good bearing? Where do you find these bearings at, Mullen? I hope I say that right. Molan Molan. You could pronounce that several different ways. I'm sure I'm butchering it somewhat. Chow. Turkey Slayer 1. I figured that one out. Thank you. Yeah, I enjoy y'all. Everybody that's saying, we love the videos, y'all, I appreciate that. I I, 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 I enjoy making videos, which is why I do this. I enjoy making videos, which is why I do this. I enjoy making videos, which is why I do this. I enjoy making videos, which is why I do this. I enjoy making videos, which is why I do this. I enjoy making videos, which is why I do this. I enjoy making videos, which is why I do this. I enjoy making videos, which is why I do this. I enjoy making videos, which is why I do this. I enjoy making videos, which is why I do this. I enjoy making videos, which is why I do this. I enjoy making videos, which is why I do this. I enjoy making videos, which is why I do this. I enjoy making videos, which is why I do this. I enjoy making videos, which is why I do this. I enjoy making videos, which is why I do this. I enjoy making videos, which is why I do this. I enjoy making videos, which is why I do this. I enjoy making videos, which is why I do this. I enjoy making videos And I have noticed if I'm taking my time and just doing something I enjoy, relaxing, like the plant videos, I can usually film a lot better video. When I get out there fishing and I'm focused on what I'm doing, trying to get a job done, there's a lot of times like that in the garden. If I'm trying to work in the garden, I don't film as good of videos. And plus, when you're in a boat, you're limited on camera angles. You can't just move the camera all. I would love to get some shots, you know, outside of the whole boat and everything, but I'm not set up to do that. Don't have the camera equipment. It's lighting. Okay. Where do you find those bearings at? Where do I look for to get good bearings? I looked at some axles. I'm probably fixing to have to order axles for it. In other words, on that Polaris Ranger where the axles go in, it's slack in there, and before it just flops and waters the whole front differential out. And I've seen on Amazon, they like $30-something a piece. High Lifter offers one set that's like $70 for, I think, a set. It may be $70 a piece. I don't know. I didn't really look to see if that was a piece or separate. But anyway, because some of them was coming in pairs. But I'm probably finna put 2 front axles in there. My axles are not broke, but the rubber guards is tore all off of them and they flop and they need replacing. But anyway, the videos, I enjoy making them, but I've noticed that if I'll sit down and relax, I can make a better video. In other words, make it look more entertaining. And that's what I want to try to do. Because for me, the video making is really an artwork that I enjoy doing. But I enjoy sharing a simple, blessed life, you know. Not that, hey, I'm blessed more than anybody else, but it's not about how much stuff you have. It's about learning how to enjoy the things you do have. That's where blessing is. You're a blessed person when you want what you already got. If you're sitting there thinking about all the other stuff that you need or want to enjoy life, you know, I mean, there's a lot of other stuff I'd like to have, but I enjoy going fishing. I enjoy working in my garden. I enjoy being at home. So I film all this. Y'all, I went on vacation for me this week. I went to Tombigbee River. We didn't go very far. We spent Monday afternoon. We got there about 3 o'clock. We left about 2 o'clock. Leaving 2 or 3 o'clock, we left out from there Wednesday coming home. And I worked myself to death up there trying to fish, trying to hurry up, catch more fish, running them jug lines. And I struggled to catch fish. And of course, I was playing with jugs. I normally go up there and fish my long lines. And I catch a lot more fish doing that. I know kind of how to set them up. So the jugs is something new. I didn't know right where I needed to put them. Didn't know where fish is at. And then them long lines I made, I didn't make them just right. They kept getting tangled all up. I'm going to redo them, but I caught a few fish on them, but I was working really hard trying to make up for it, catch more fine fish, and trying to make sure Brody got to catch fish. And there was times that when we caught fish, I'd turn the camera on and it wouldn't start recording and, you know, all that kind of business. And you get frustrated when you don't make a really good video like that. But I come home from my vacation and had to sit down and relax. I mean, I come in and got in a recliner and just went out. I was wore out. We packed and packed up to get up there, packed and packed to get home. And I fish like I'm working a job. I can't help it. That's just the way I enjoy doing it. I mean, I was up there to get as much as I could out of fishing. For me, a vacation really and truly is if I had 2 or 3 days at home that I didn't have to work, I could just piddle around out here doing whatever I wanted to do. That's vacation to me. I enjoy being here. This is where all my stuff is. I can tinker on knives. I can piddle in my garden. That is enjoyment. And when you get your home life set up to where you enjoy being at home and you're relieved when you're at home and this is where I want to be and I enjoy it here, you got it made. Because I know a lot of people that they miserable at home and every weekend they got to jump in their vehicle and try to go drive somewhere where they can enjoy a day or so. That ain't no life to live, you know. And that's what I want to share here when I make videos is is enjoy the things you have. Enjoy what you can do. You look at what I'm sitting under out here that I built. And some of you probably ain't seen it, but I mean, I built a place to cook that I ain't hardly got nothing in as far as money because I worked at it and figured out a way to build out of what I had, peeled these trees, and videos is on all of that if you hadn't seen it and want to see how it done. And you can enjoy life with less money if you learn how. And that's, don't get caught up in you got to buy a bunch of stuff to enjoy things. That's all I'm saying. I'll get off on one of them deep rants. Tom Johnson said, really like when you say the best way to do things is the way you like to do them. And there's a lot of truth in that, Tom. A lot of truth. Oh, Shannon Herb, I found the circle hooks. They was sitting on the counter when I got home. What I done is I put them in a coffee can. I had a blue coffee can, and I put a piece of 4-inch pipe inside of it and cut notches in it so I'd keep it from getting tangled up, and I hooked the hooks all the way around the top and had the line over in the middle with the snaps on it. And I put the lid on it, said, I'll get that, and I loaded everything but them. And all the stuff we had packed, I was talking to Uncle Sasquatch. I told him, I said, you'd be surprised at what all we left. I had a small grill I was going to take to put on my tailgate and grill. We had to use their open grill that they have mounted at them campgrounds, and they don't cook real good because they open. You can't cover them. I left my grill. We was going to carry the big skillet where we cook breakfast and all that in it. We left it. I left the fish hooks. There was something else that we got up there we wanted and we forgot and didn't have. Several things we left, so that's why I packed so much stuff, because at least I got up there and I could remake hooks and I had extras. Larry Alexander, this is a 2015 900 XP Ranger from Polaris. I'll look on Amazon for them bearings. John, I do. I just turn the camera on and do whatever I'm doing. There ain't nothing staged. I mean, I literally, when I go out there to do whatever I'm doing, I just take this tripod and the camera and turn it on and go about what I'm doing, and I'll go grab the camera and turn around. And I like, as I say, as I'm doing some artwork, sometimes I'll go set the camera up and then and it's a lot of work, Sometimes you got to do stuff near about twice. But it ain't nothing staged. It's just you set up a shot before you do whatever you're going to do. I mean, it's like dragging logs. A lot of times I'll walk up here and set the camera up, get it set just right, and drive up, drag that log up in front of the camera. I'm doing whatever. I ain't doing nothing different, just trying to get a camera on it. I'd love to have somebody that was good with a camera that could walk around and just film me doing whatever I do. But it wouldn't be the same. I enjoy doing the filming. So I guess I'm doing what I ought to do. There's probably nothing going to change. I like it the way it is. But anyway, I was going to, just for the sake of saying it, Tom Johnson, my bad, asked about my saying. The best way to do things is the way you like to do it. There's a reason behind this. That don't mean that the way you like to do it is always the right way. But even if it's the wrong way, you better off to go on and do it your way and find out if it works or not. Because I can tell you how I do something, and 9 times out of 10, you come up with another idea and you want to tell me, hey, you need to try this. And nothing wrong with that. But that just tells me you have another idea. And the best way for you to do something is whatever's in your mind, because even if you do it the way I tell you to do it, you're going to sit there and wonder, does your way work? And most everybody is going to do it the way they want to anyway, whether they tell anybody or not, and find out it don't work. And you know what? If it does work, then you have just figured out, hey, my way works too. And a lot of times it will. Most things, there is more than one way to do it and do a good job at it. Now, there's a lot of ways to do something wrong, obviously, but, and there's a lot of ways it work. It might not be the most efficient, And it's like gardening. Man, there's 10,000 different ways to grow a tomato plant. And to sit here and argue online about the best way to do it, there is no best way. Because there's a lot of climate that factors in. There's a lot of soil issues that factor in. There's whole lot of other stuff that you have to, whether you get a lot of rain or a little rain. I mean, there's so much different stuff that goes into what is most practical for you, you know. And for me, it's the most practical for me to just put everything in the garden down there. I've tried to raise beds, and I love raised beds. Raised beds are a wonderful thing, but they can be very aggravating after a time period. Get no equipment up in it to do much with it. And you got to add compost to them. The good thing is they drain really well. They're raised up, so anything you plant gets good drainage. But they require more frequent watering. It's just a fact. If I get down in my garden and I heel up a high row, well, then I can water it, and that water, it can get down into that water that's in that garden anyway, and it's sort of raised up and get a drain, so I get the best of both worlds that way. So you see what I'm saying? There's many different ways to do it. And if you don't like putting them in your garden, you want to put them in tubs, you want to put them in wicking tubs, or you want to put them in a raised bed, or you want to do hanging baskets or upside down buckets or whatever, put them in hay bales. They grow good there. You have to do things the way you like to do it. And that's the reason that saying's there. You go on and get your way out of the way and find out if it works or not. And if it don't, well, then you'll start figuring out, you know, learn from somebody else. So that is kind of where that saying comes from. And a lot of it is learned from me being hard-headed, because I'm about going to do it my way regardless, whether you tell me 10 different good ways to do it. If I got a way in the back of my head that I think will work, I'm going to try it or bust. That's just me being honest. It ain't that I think your way's wrong. It's just I want to know if my way will work. And that, you know, so, and I think everybody's a little bit that way. So go on and do it your way. I mean, if it ain't going to hurt nobody. Now, if it's dangerous, you know, it might not be a good idea to do it your way. But anyway, moving on. Brody he's in that recliner, right under. I'm looking at his knees sticking up. He's probably glued to Scooby-Doo or something. I don't know, he was watching some young'uns on YouTube play with some toys on there. I don't know what he's in. But his mama's got him content in there, I think, so. He's been wound up. This garden, I disced it up. He had his Power Wheels 4-wheeler out there buried up in it. I had to go pull him out this evening, so. He's been on one. John Thomas, I couldn't tell you how many times I've thrown something out and it sprouted. And then there's times that I can put, I got 2 trays that I have put jalapeno pepper seeds in, and I can't get none of my pepper seeds to sprout. And I know they was good seeds. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Finna have to do me another hanging jug. I pulled everything out of my hanging jugs today and potted them up into 6-packs. I had a bunch of bell peppers I did. And I think one of them may have been, I'm probably fixing to do, though, a cayenne pepper in one and a jalapeno pepper in one, because better late than never. And the main reason I wanted the jalapenos was I wanted to grind them up and make seasoning later in the fall. But I really like doing them jalapeno poppers or whatever, where you take the jalapeno, you cut it in half, and you fill it full of cream cheese and wrap it with bacon. Oh, man, they fine on the grill like that. But I can't never. Last year, I planted a whole row of jalapenos, and they all come up, and they was all banana peppers. So I may just go to town and buy me. I've got a few jalapeno peppers out there now. I did put some plants in the ground. I'm gonna have some jalapeno peppers, but I may go buy me another 6-pack or two and put a whole row out. You can't never tell. Noah Plunkett, man, I had a dad that took me out and done a lot of stuff with me, but my dad worked a lot. He took care of us. He was the best father you could ever have. But to say that we went fishing a lot and we got out and did a lot of stuff, he took me a little and taught me what I knew. But nothing like what I do with Brody. I spent a lot of time with my daddy working, which was good for me. We hauled pulpwood for fun. And I mean, we had an old beat up truck, you ain't never seen a new pulpwood truck. We had an old beat up truck. And you had to work on everything on it. We used an old tractor we had a Ford 4630 for a long time, and then we bought this old Clark skidder. We rebuilt the motor. We drug it out of a blackberry patch. That's what we done. Got it running, had to overhaul the engine in it. Got it running, had a Detroit diesel in it. Didn't have no exhaust pipe, had a straight pipe come up. It was cut off about right up here. It was loud. They call it the Screaming Demon. And I'd get off and drag them cables, and that's what we done for fun. My daddy worked offshore. He was gone a week, and then he was home a week. And them 4 days that he was home, we hauled pulpwood and logs. But he taught me the values of working to buy what I wanted, which was really good for me. And our fishing, we did go fishing. He took me fishing and hunting. And we went down here to this swamp that I love so much, and we would brim fish in that old John boat I got. And you'd only get to go when the water was just right, where you could get around down there. And it was usually more work than it was fishing, because we had to take a chainsaw and saw logs out all the way to the fishing hole, and then drag a boat halfway back because the water was low. It was tough. So what I'm saying is a lot of it I learned on my own. I went through a period in life where I didn't care nothing about fishing and stuff. So I run wild and partied and showed out. And it was in my late 20s, mid to late 20s, when I really got back into fishing and hunting and trapping and stuff, and got all excited about it. And then I went like hog wild over it. And I learned a lot on my own. We had never went crappie fishing when I was a kid. I don't remember me and my daddy ever going like, we're going crappie fishing. I didn't know nothing about crappie fishing. So most everything I know about fishing, I have learned on my own. So you can do all these things. You can learn everything you need to know. Just watch a video and then go do it. You're going to mess up a lot of stuff, but get in the woods. And the reason I encourage it is there's no more peaceful place to be than in the woods off by yourself. Ain't nobody pestering you, bothering you. Now, if you in those places where there's a lot of people everywhere, I don't like to go on Saturdays fishing because there's people all in the woods. Somebody riding 4-wheelers back here. They ain't hurting nothing. I just didn't realize it. Pulpwood, Ken, used to be, it was like 5.5 foot, and you had to pick it up and hand throw it up on the old truck. And what they done is they took like a regular pickup truck and took the bed off, and you had 2 poles going up behind the cab, and then they come back straight, and then they went up about head high, a little over head high, and you just stack that wood all up in there. Well, you'd drive it down to the wood yard, and what they done is they made paper out of it. They would grind it up, and pulpwood, they would call it. They ground it up into pulp because the wood was short, and it'd just get ground up into chips and make paper and whatever else they need to make. And then we started hauling, I think it was maybe 14 foot. It was basically short logs. Occasionally we would haul a few logs if we got into some good wood, but most of it was called pulpwood even then because it was knotty or whatever, and it would just go to the mill and get ground all up. So you could get in any old patch of wood, and you didn't have to select it out into just perfectly straight all logs, But there's been a many old poor boy made a living hauling pulpwood. Did I find out what the ghost light was? Yes. And possibly you can see tonight, somewhere right along in this area, right where my finger is, you can start seeing there's a road. The road that comes in front of my house kind of comes into view right in here and goes by. So what y'all was seeing was a car light. I did go back and look at that last weekend because everybody was curious. I didn't see it when it happened, or I would have knew immediately. I didn't realize at this angle you could see the road, but way back down the road you can. So that is what that was. Jason McAllister said, plant your peppers when you're aggravated or mad and they'll be hot. I'd say that makes sense to me. I'll buy that for $1. Well, John Thomas, if your wife thinks we cousins, we may be long lost relatives. You can't never tell. Very, very possible. Shannon Herb, see you later. You're probably already gone, but now I'm going back. Y'all, look who just showed up in the comment section. I ain't even gonna say nothing. Tell him I'm mad, I ain't gonna talk to him. Yep, woods and the water is where I go to pray, talk to the Lord. Fishing with Mike. You ever try freshwater drums? Some people say they're good eating. I tried some this past week for fish bait. I had one that I cut in half and put it in the freezer. I was gonna cook him. There's a reason I brought him home. Well, I got him when me and Brody was running them trot lines, and I cleaned all them fish, and I don't know why. I just cut him in half and said he's gonna make cut bait. And I put him back in the cooler, or in the freezer, and I got him out and took him up there in I had a little bait cooler, and I took him with me, and we caught a few catfish with him. Tommy, I told him you'd be here after a while. I didn't know how long it was gonna take you. Did I call it pretty accurately on the time frame, y'all? Wasn't it about 30-something minutes ago I said he'd be here in about 30 minutes? I think I may have called it right. I ain't sure. I said Tommy would be here. He ain't here yet, but he's here now. So, look, I got a problem. My coffee has done got lukewarm. Logan, little buddy, how are you? Don't comment anymore. What life is just all over the place. Well, I'm going to tell you something, my buddy. Your life's going to always be all over the place because everybody else's life is all over the place. Everybody else is struggling and fighting. We all fighting something. You look at Uncle Sasquatch. He's been in the hospital all this week. Life is uncertain. What it has to do is you got to make the most out of what you're given to work with. Life ain't fair. Everybody ain't dealt the same deck of cards. Some folks seem to have it easy and some folks just have it rough. It's just the way it is. What makes you you is when you get up every morning and lace your shoes up tight, hold your head up, poke your chest out. So I'm gonna make the best out of this day. And when that day is over and you come home and you're tired, and you lay down and you go to sleep, you do what's right because that's the right thing to do. Don't get aggravated and frustrated. And it's like I said in an Instagram reel today. 9 times out of the 10, you are your problem. And that goes for everybody. Most of our troubles is from our own doings. A lot of them. Not always, not everything. I know these people that do people wrong. I'm well aware of that. We ain't talking about that. We're talking about just most of the time. In my case, I've been my biggest problem. And when I got me fixed, a lot of my problems went away. A lot of them was from me trying to, I guess, have my way when it really wasn't the right thing. Wasn't my way to be had. But anyway, what I'm getting at is don't let life get you down. Just know everybody's got it tough too, man. And hold your head up and make the best out of every day you got. Because you ain't always guaranteed tomorrow, man. Get you some wild lettuce. Help that ankle pain out. That's what I did when I turned mine over. Yep, Tommy, we got old Uncle Sasquatch on here, and he's kicking high tonight. He's at home. Yeah, Uncle Sasquatch talking about Jake being all excited when you get home. That's why I carried old Roscoe with me to the Tombigbee River. Every time we leave, if we gone more than 2 days, actually, I can get up in the morning and leave and go deliver pottery and get home at night. And Roscoe acts like I've been gone a week. I mean, he'll just near about climb up my leg and just climb up on me. I said, son, I just been gone a day. He acts like he didn't think I was coming home again. Said, that's why we went up there, and I said, I'm just going to take him with me. He probably can't handle me being gone 2 or 3 days like that. But now, I don't know that was the best decision because he didn't really like being on that rope up there either. We had to tie him to the leg of a picnic table up there because, they frown on you having your dog running loose up there. And I know there's probably dogs peed on every tree around there, and he's smelling all that. Logan, we'll see you next time, buddy. We'll be praying for you too, bud. Jerome Williams, we didn't really do real good as far as fishing. Now, we had a good time. The first day we fished, they pulled water off. I didn't know they was pulling water, but after the next morning, I pulled my Alp up. I got a river Alp and seen where the water level had dropped, which means they pulled water from the dam, and that lock ain't a half a mile down there, maybe a mile down there to that lock from where the campground is. So, that's all draining where the fish don't bite when they do that. And so that's what happened that first evening, us running jugs. We caught like 1 or 2 fish, and then we had stuff stealing our bait. I think was probably gar, because I wound up catching 3 gar. And I put 1 gar in the boat, and I never did film it or nothing. I pulled it up late that night by myself out there. It got tangled all up in string, and for whatever reason, I didn't get none of the gar on camera. And I had 1 big alligator gar hung on a jug, and I was going to let Brody get it off, so I went back. He had played on the playground, so I went back and got him, and we come back with the thing that got off the jug by the time we got back. I had pulled it up to the top of the water and looked at it, turned the jug loose, and we'll come back and get him. Well, he wasn't on there when we come back, but we did all right. The long lines worked. I broke 1 off the first night. I put it in there the first night. Went down there the next morning, and it had a fish on it. And it wrapped it around something. And I pulled on it and didn't pull hard. It just popped down there. So I don't know if maybe there was some metal he got wrapped around down there, and what happened. Because literally, I didn't pull that tarred bank line that hard. I pulled on it, pop. I was like, what? And all my stuff down there was gone. So I don't know what was down in the water, and it's close to where the bridge was. So I wonder if in the construction of that bridge, maybe there's something under the water down there, I should have took my down scan imaging and looked, but I didn't. So I broke one of them off, but I wound up catching 2 or 3 decent fish. But y'all, I have yet to catch an Appaloosa cat up there. I have fished with nothing but live bait. I've fished around, in, above, and below deep holes. And they was people catching them while I was up there. They was a couple, actually there was 2 couples beside us that were all fishing together. May have actually been 3 couples. Come to think of it, I think they were. I've talked to them. They were from down around Hattiesburg. Wonderful people. I ended up making friends with 4 different couples, basically. There was one fellow on one side of me that I talked to for a little while, and then I talked to all these people on the other side, and I mean, I made friends. All of them got their phone numbers and the whole 9 yards, you know, just from being friendly. And they was running some lines, and they were running like 10 hooks per trot line, and they had several lines out, and they come in 120-pound yellowcat. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but my unicorn or white elephant or whatever they call it is an Appaloosa cat up there. I can't catch one. Now I've caught some good blue cat. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Tennessee, I use the wild lettuce, and I've used really the raw lacticarium out of the plant. It works the best. The tar, now I used some of that tar the other night. I come in beat down tar, and my back was hurting, and I was wore out. Wound up, had a headache. I was partly dehydrated, I think. I drank plenty of fluid, and I took some of that, a big pinch of that black tar I make out of the wild lettuce, took it. But the wild lettuce tincture works just as good, and it's easier to do. But wild lettuce is what I'm going to use if I'm in pain to start with. Now, if it's bad enough that don't work, we may graduate to something else later, but usually that's what I go to. What I had done was turned my ankle over. I was monkeying around hunting mushrooms and jumped across a ditch down there that's deep, but it ain't real wide, and I run and jumped, and when I land on the other side, I rolled my ankle over, and I thought I had broke it, y'all. So and that's been 2 or 3 years ago, and I took some made wild lettuce stuff, and actually I was using it raw out of the plant, and that worked the best, but I cooked some down, and I made a tea out of it then, and the tea works good, but now I cooked a whole lot of it and made it strong. Tommy, they very well could have been full. That place up there was covered with cicadas. We don't even have them here. They ain't none right here at my house. About 4 or 5 miles over here, there's a girl had a picture that's all over her carport, just thick. About 3 miles this way, there's none right here. I mean, like, I hear a few during the day, but nothing like what's going on. So they're not right here in this area for whatever reason. But up there, yeah, they could have been. There was plenty of them, and you know, I should have put some on some jug lines just to see what had happened. I thought about it, but I already had plenty of bait, and I never really decided, hey, let's try them and see if it worked. They would have probably worked, but I don't know if they'd have worked any better than what I had, you know. But yeah, there was plenty of them. Plenty of them. Yeah, I ain't never thought about that, but that pond over in the middle of that campground there ain't no telling what all's in it. There's a walkway around it. And they ain't no telling what all's in that thing. I've heard of people fishing in it. In fact, I heard somebody, I think, said there was crappie in it. There ain't no telling. But yeah, them catfish will eat them bugs. I seen some catfish. Somebody on my Facebook page was showing, I think Dwayne or somebody had caught some on them cicadas. Jimmy Sullivan, usually on here, I think he said they was making good fish bait out of them. So yeah, the cicadas, you put them on a hook, you'll catch something. I think the bass is hitting them. The catfish will eat them. I don't know about crappie, but You know, the brim may even, a bigger brim may even try to hit them. They seem to be big for a brim, but I've seen brim hit some pretty big baits. Mike Culpepper, how much of the raw do you take? What I'll do is I'll nick that stalk with my fingernail, and I'll let it run down about this far and wipe it up till it's a big puddle on my thumb and lick it off. And I'll do that a time or two, but now listen closely. I heard one girl say on one of the foraging pages or medicinal plant pages somewhere that she caught a spoon, kept doing it and filled a spoon up and took that spoonful and threw up immediately. It's very bitter, so I would probably say a spoonful is a accurate amount. Don't take it all at one swallow. Nick the plant and lick it off, and nick it over here and lick it off and lick it over there. You know, get it on your finger and lick it off, or whatever way suits you, but don't just fill a spoon up and take that all at one time, because it's bitter. I mean, it's bad bitter. Jimmy Glenn said he caught a bunch of brim in that pond on the campground. Y'all, that's probably one of the prettiest campgrounds around in this area. If you've never stayed at Pickinsville Campground on the Tombigbee River, even if you don't fish, go up there and look at the map and get one of the spots over on the bank of the river and sit there and watch barges go by. And prop your feet up, watch the boats go up and down the river. It's a wonderful place. They got a little playground over there. Brody went and played on the playground. He met a little girl that he played with for hours, and I just had a good time. All good people. The attendants there, I've never had no problem with nobody. I mean, you know, if you go up there wanting to show out and carry on and make a lot of racket and irritate everybody, you're going to have problems. But if you go up there to relax and enjoy yourself, you're going to have a wonderful time. Donnie Hill, I heard somebody saying that they tried to fry some cicadas. Now, folks, if you're hungry enough to start cooking katydids, look, I got some leftover chicken fried rice we just made. I eat my plate full. I'm sure Michelle's done eat what she wanted. I'll be more than happy to bring it to you if you having to put cicadas in the crock pot, you know. Things may get bad this fall, but they ain't got that bad yet. Now, I know old John come out of the wilderness with locusts and honey, but fella, you're going to have to convince me. I bet it took a lot of honey. I just can't do it now. Now, I watch old Les Shroud go to the woods and play Survivor, man, and man, the first thing he's going to do is tear him a rotten log open and see what kind of bug he can find to eat. And I'm like, fella, on day one, you ain't that hungry. You just like them. That's all there is to it. I ain't eating no bugs, y'all. Well, I ain't going to say I ain't. I get bad hungry. I mean, you know, and that's all there is. I'll probably eat them, but man, I don't want to. If you catch me eating bugs, you gonna know this old boy done fell on hard times. And I may not be able to admit I need some help, but help me anyway. If you got a bologna sandwich you'd lend me, you know, like old Marcel, he asked old lady one time, he had done fell on hard times. Old Marcel knocked on this lady's door and he said, ma'am, would you give me $2 for a ham sandwich? He was going to go down the store and buy him one. She said, well, I don't know. I'd have to see the sandwich. Oh, Lord. Yeah, Jimmy, I heard somebody say it tastes like shrimp. You know, if it does, I probably don't need to be eating shrimp. Give me crawfish. You know, crawfish is a bug, but, you know, crawfish got some meat in the tail. I can't see that cicada having I don't even want to think. Let's talk about something else, y'all. Well, Jimmy, you're going to have to take off work, quit working so hard, and let's go up there. If I had a good fellow to go with me that helped me run them lines, we'd catch some good catfish, but I can't run them long lines with Brody. I can do them with him in the boat. I just don't want to do it just me and him because, you know, something happened, wind get to blowing, we get to turn around. Man, if I got one of them lines hung to him, and I mean, if it just hung his life jacket, would pull him out of the boat, it's it just too much could go wrong. Now, me and Scott Wiley went up there and run them with Brody in there, and me and Casey have been and run them a time or two. My dad won't hardly go run them with me anymore. I work him to death, you know. So. What we'll have to do is get us a group of guys together to go up there and pitch us a bunch of tents and whatnot. Or the camper I got don't sleep very many folks. But we can get up there and have us a good time and fish one weekend. Tommy Litchfield, he done got some of them grasshoppers that Woodrow and Gus got in Lonesome Dove over there. Right after that man got through talking about his wife didn't make good biscuits. I imagine after he had said what he done to her for not making good biscuits. Oh no, he said she made good biscuits, but her behavior was terrible, is what he said. Oh, Lord, Lord, Lord. Sean Hawkins, you're in the ER, chest pains tested. We'll say a prayer for you. Y'all say a prayer for Sean. God be with him and help him. Take that chest pain away. Let everything be all right, Lord. I need somebody to draw them up there to show me what I'm doing wrong to catch a yellowcat. I know they catching them right there, and I don't know why I can't catch them. I ain't putting my list. Something I'm doing wrong. Something I ain't doing. I mean, I don't know what. I'm fishing with live bait, fishing around deep holes. You'd think a blind dog would get a bone every now and then, but anyway. It'll be all right. I mean, if that's the worst thing that ever happens to me is I don't catch a yellowcat, well, I'll suck it up and take it. You know, I don't like it, but I'll take it. Yeah, John, I agree. It'd be a good men's fellowship weekend. I'd love to make it happen. I fish shallow water, David. I fish deep water. I had hooks in 39 foot of water. I had hooks in 3 foot of water. I had hooks in 10 foot of water. I had hooks. I don't know. I had a hook, Jimmy Glenn, right across from the grain elevator out there. I put one of them long lines in that deep hole right across from the grain elevator over. I said, there'll be a nap on this one. Not so, Lord. I ain't gonna give up. I ain't wanting to quit. I've been trying for 5 years. I mean, I might be 70 by the time I catch one, but we'll keep going. I ain't gonna work myself into no frenzy trying to catch them. But anyway, it'll be all right. We'll figure it out eventually. Fishing with Mike, that's what we had. I put mudcat. I had a whole cooler full of mudcat. That's what we call them. They bullhead, but we call them mudcat. And I don't know, I had some, hey, I had some this long and I had some this long. Had stump perch, what we call them here is sun perch. A lot of y'all call them stump perch down, especially further south. And I had them. I put shad. I put crawfish. I wound up hitting several shad patches with my throw net. You may have to try that, Mike, and I hadn't tried that. Yes, sir, Tennessee Smoky. Sunday is Mama's Day. Lord hell, I tell y'all right now, I'm where I'm at because my mama prayed for me. Yes, sir, I'll never deny that. I'm here, what I'm doing now, because my mama prayed for me when I was still an alcoholic. She didn't give up, so thank you for that. I ain't got no catawba worms. I'm gonna keep my eye out for some this year. I know where some's growing, but I hadn't.
I smell skunk.
Smell a skunk.
Yeah.
That may be what Roxanne been down there barking at, reckon. He just come breezed right through. I had deer liver. I cut up you watch a video, you'll see all that deer liver on there. Video come out today about dinner. Y'all, I worked myself to death trying to edit that thing. And y'all, there's gonna be a part 2 to the video, but part 2 is gonna be really short because when I started going through the footage, hang on. Scott. Excuse me. Twice when me and Brody had a jug that we had a fish on there, I hit the camera and thought I turned the camera on, but I was excited in a hurry and it didn't start recording. Oh, so you know, it's the second part of it's gonna be, and I didn't realize that till today because it recorded for like 2 seconds and cut off. Usually what happens is when my hand's wet and I hit this touch screen, it'll start recording and go on. And then sometimes if I've got the phone clamped in a way that one of those buttons on the side are somewhat mashed, I hit record, it'll go back off. So I don't know what happened, but anyway. Yeah, he was the first mate, he said. He said something, I told him I was a captain. He said, I'm going to be the captain. I said, no, I'm the captain. You be the first mate. And then the next day I said, I tell you what, you be the captain and I'll be the pilot. So, he, with David Russell, we've got a bunch of trees that go back down a back road over here that they don't spray on. And they have just come around here and poisoned all our ditches. I mean, the grass had just got up tall enough that you couldn't see all the garbage in the road here in Mississippi. And I'll be doggone if they didn't come through and spray and kill all of it. Now we're going to have to look at the garbage again. Not to mention the road banks go to erode. And I wish they'd quit poisoning the grass on the side. If they don't want to cut it, just leave it alone. But I can't stand the poison. And it ain't that I'm like, oh, it's going to kill us all. I don't like looking at the brown dead stuff in the middle of the summer. I'd rather see weeds hay tall, you know. They worry about deer running out. So, you know, slow down. That's your problem. One sticks his head out, you know, you driving a right speed, you can go over. Don't get me started on it. I don't like it. I like the plants. I like to ride down through there and see what's blooming on it, you know. I realize that don't appeal to everybody else, but it does to me. I'd rather see the weeds than I had the garbage. That's enough I'm going to say on that. I ain't gonna get off on that. thought I heard a coyote howling. Could have been a little boy. I don't know. Oh, yeah, they ought to cut it, but now I'll tell you, some way or another, our money in this county, they can't afford to fix your roads harder. They can't afford to. Here's my deal. I'm okay with them killing all the grass if they'll come through and pick up the garbage. There's no such thing as stopping people from throwing it out. I wish it was, but they ain't. Come. I keep hearing that. They could come through, though, with inmates or somebody and pick up the garbage. They do it in a lot of other states, but for here, for whatever reason, they don't want to make them get out and pick up nothing here. You know, they could work, they ain't got to make them do it for free. Put it towards their fines, put it towards their whatever they owe. I mean, you know what I'm saying? They owe all this money to the government for fines, but the problem is they don't want them working, they want the money. I think the inmates ought to be able to get their fines if they'll pick up garbage every day. When you get out of jail, you don't owe nothing. You know what I mean? Fishing with Mike. See you later, bud. Hope you have good luck. Well, Robin, they don't do it much. Every now and then you'll see them somewhere picking up garbage. But here's the problem. There's just a small handful out there picking it up, and our jails is overrunning. Right now, our county is hauling inmates to another county because we can't hold them all here. There ain't no shortage of criminals, you know, I mean. And most of them's just drug charges. Drunken and drug. I mean, they're not like violent people that you worry they're going to rob you or murder you when they, you know. I mean, if they escape, run off, well, the worst thing that's happening, I mean, they got caught for doing dope. It won't be 2 days. You'll find them somewhere strung out on something. They'll be back. I mean, you know, we ain't going to lose them. And if they do go into hiding and you don't see them no more, it's kind of a blessing, you know. They minding their own business, staying out of everybody's way then. You know. I mean, I don't misunderstand me. I'm not for like, you know, a lot of people think, oh, it's slave labor. I ain't trying to get them to do it for nothing. Like I said, let them pick up garbage, take it off their fine, you know, because you know good and well they owe no telling what fines and charges when they get in there. But no, we're gonna fill this spray truck up with pesticides, and we're gonna just ride down the road and we're gonna squirt it out right out here, and we'll drive right by them ditch banks. It's real nice and clean mowed. That, you know, somebody's worked hard to weed eat it and all that, and we'll poison all that too. You know, that's when I really get fired up. If y'all will go back and watch Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, they put them to good work there. They had them out there busting up rocks. They finally run off with their chains on them. They had them out there chained up. I'm fixing to have to go fill my coffee cup up for hour number 3. And then that's going to probably do it. So I'll be right back. And see, this is my cup. Who likes this other cup right here? This is for sale. I'm gonna bring y'all in just a little bit here. I like to see what pops up there is what it is. I got me a fresh. How many ounces does this cup hold? It'll hold over 8. And I probably would get in trouble if I say a certain ounce because I really don't know. It holds over 8 ounces. But it ain't probably like 12. I don't know. It might be. Let me see. I bet it'll hold 12 ounces because this water bottle is 16.9 fluid ounces. Well, you can see how much bigger it is, how tall it is according to it, and then this hole in the top is that big around, so I guarantee you can fit 12 or 14 ounces in it. I guarantee you. They $34. But they handmade, so it ain't like they come out of a mold that I could say it's a certain ounce cup. Less than half a pot. And I've got 2 fish plates in there I've tried to sell on here. They don't nobody want to buy my fish plates. I quit even making them. Out of all them fish plates I tried to sell, I think I wound up selling 1. So I've got 2 in there I'm using now. Didn't nobody want no fish plate. I think the cup is $34 and the fish plate, I can't remember how much it was. It was 60 something dollars, I want to think. Because she put a bunch of words. It's imprinted in it and all. It's check with a measuring cup. Donald, I have gone to, now tonight I am drinking caffeinated coffee because this is the last of the coffee that come from the Ye Old Bakery up in Brooksville. I bought some there. It's really good coffee, but it is dark roast caffeinated. I drank some caffeinated coffee in the morning, but we have gone to decaffeinated coffee if we make coffee in the afternoons because like you, I don't need a whole lot of David Russian. I probably could make a spirit bowl, but I'm not sure what a spirit bowl is. I have done a natural earth tone, like no glaze at all in the bowl that I made, but I don't really know I guess I don't know exactly what a native spirit bowl is. Tennessee Smoky, I don't have any clue. What happened to judges who would sentence convicted criminals to hard labor? I'll be honest with you, I have no idea. None whatsoever. I can promise you they ain't no judge gonna sentence nobody to hard labor now because they'd lose their job. I can tell you that now. Now I ain't gonna argue whether they ought to or it's right or wrong. I'm saying that's what would happen now. Small bowl. I will, David. I'll look them up and see what a spirit bowl is. It might be something I'm interested in making. I love Native American stuff. And we call it Indian stuff. I don't call it Indian stuff being derogatory. because I'm sure there may be some Native American people that watch this. My Native American stuff, like when I hang the feather in my bandana in the fall, when I'm getting into hunting season, and my remaking of Native American things and Native American, the feather that's in the logo and all, mine is out of admiration for the way the old Native American mentality was. I mean, now there's some of the modern Native American stuff I don't give a rip about, being honest. But the old Native American way of life, some of them, not all of them, some of them were evil people, but it's just like us today. You got good people, evil people. I mean, that's in every race of people. But the old natives that took from the land, that took what they needed, respected everything, and give thanks to God for what they had, and just lived in harmony with things, not out trying to conquer it, is kind of my mentality. That idea is what I appeal to. That is my respect for them. Larry Alexander, you gone to bed already. Good night. Yeah, John Thomas, we make biscuit bowls. I have got some in fact, there's one sitting in there on my counter now, like a biscuit bowl. I mean, it's like a dish pan. Look, go on there in all my videos. I link like my Amazon store, my Etsy store, and Southern Mud Pottery. And go into that link and you can go, it's southernmudpottery.net, I think. And you can pull it up, and I don't know what all is on there to order, but if there's not a biscuit bowl on there, message one of us, email us or something. It's hard for me to go back in comments. Like if all I hear is what's in a comment, y'all, I'm sorry, but stuff in comments get lost, and I have short-term memory. If you really seriously want something, you're gonna have to either message me on my Spirit of the Outdoors Facebook page, because y'all, I very rarely look at my Justin Peden Facebook. I know a lot of y'all message me there, and that's okay. I think the people that message me there understand that I just check that every once in a while. I pretty well regularly check the messages on my Spirit of the Outdoors Facebook page. And then if you email me, I've got to where I check my email pretty regular. And it's because of business transactions I'm doing through email. So email me at justinpeden@gmail.com. That's JUSTINPEDEN @gmail.com. And we figure out what you want through that. I love to ship you all the pottery you can buy. I mean, I enjoy making it and selling it. Pottery is what I do. I'll take pottery orders. I don't like to take knife orders because it takes me a long time to make a knife. I can make a piece of pottery fairly fast. Do I ever do any flint knapping? No, Jerome, I have never got into flint knapping simply because we have no flint here. Now, the Native American tribes here, we had the Choctaw Indian Nation here. They went and traded with the Cherokees, and then somebody told me the other day that they went down somewhere around Meridian area, that there was a place down there that they had some flint. I'm not sure. There's just not a lot of flint in Mississippi. In the northeastern corner of Mississippi, there is some flint, hard rock up that way. But I think they had to trade with people to get most of it. So I've never got into flint knapping just because it's not natural here. I've got some rocks down there that is more like shirt rocks. It's hard stuff, good for flint and steel. I don't know if it's hard enough to make a arrowhead or a tool or something like that out of. I got it over in East Alabama when I was over there with my buddy Don Lanier. Yeah, Brenda, I do need the caffeine tonight. I don't know. I have been exhausted for the last few days. Even before I went to up yonder, rushing around trying to get everything squared away to go, and I was wore out. We went up there in a fish hard, come home, and then when I got here Wednesday, we got home Wednesday night. I had to run around and get all the chickens fed, check on all the animals, check on the garden plants, make sure everything was squared away and not dying stuff, you know. And I found bugs, eat some peppers, slam up, made 2 or 3 things, you know. It's just life. I went in there and sat down that afternoon. It was still up in the day, and I mean, I took me a hard, long nap. And then got up and slept all night, slept good. And last night, though, I woke up over in the night. Last week, I woke up over in the middle of the night a couple of nights. I'm talking about like went to bed 9:30, 10 o'clock, woke up like 1 o'clock and stayed awake till 4 o'clock in the morning. And then one morning I woke up about 2:30 or 3, and I was up till daylight, and I just about, I don't know, 4:30, I just went on, got up and went to making coffee and doing, and I don't know. One of them, though, I had some stuff on my mind and some people on my mind. I woke up and I prayed a little. I don't, usually if I wake up in the middle of the night, I don't get out of bed and on my knees and pray. I just lay there and just talk to the Lord, and I try to call names that I can remember and people. And I get so many prayer requests and stuff through YouTube and comments and all that. There's no way I can remember every one of them. And as I happen to think of one and remember, oh, this person, I try to, you know, so, but, you know, I don't know. I'm wore out. I try to do too much. I have got to learn to slow down, relax, and quit trying to do everything. I tell you what I really need. I need a clone. If I could figure out a way to clone me and make 2 of me, I don't know if the world could take it or not. It helped me out though tremendously. Long as he, you know, didn't get too much in my way. If he'd mind me good, we might be all right. If he's as hard-headed as I am now, I don't know. That probably ain't a good idea. Yep, Jimmy Glenn, you probably right. Probably this number 42, what's stamped on my, beside my age, is what's a lot of it. You sure, Tommy? Are you sure? Brenda said he needed 3 clones. I can't. Y'all, I'm going to tell y'all. Answer me a question, a serious question here now. These people that go to a job and work all day, you know, at the job, and they come home and they go park rear end in recliner when they get home, and they don't go outside till it's time in the morning to go back to work. How does them people get anything done? I really want to know. Because I'm running around here. I'm here most of the day. And I can't make pottery but a half a day. And it's like today, at dinner, I'm out here. Well, first thing this morning, I'm out here raking up the rest of the straw I need to finish strawing out this bed and part of a tomato row. And I didn't get the tomato row because it was so muddy I couldn't get in there. But I piled enough in to do the job. Then I went over there and was going to get on the tractor. And I realized that field was way too muddy to cut up. So I went on in there and started pitting. Well, I had to pot up my my pepper plants that was in the hanging jugs, and I got that done. I went in there then and made pottery. Something else I did for a little bit. I don't remember now what it was. But anyway, made pottery for a while, and it didn't, about 2 o'clock, I come out, went over and got on a tractor and cut all of this mess up. Well, it didn't want to cut up, so I set it on fire and burned about half of it off. Then I got started cutting and cut that up and come back, and then I got out there, and that's when I tore into that buggy and got it all took apart and redone. I mean, I'm like, I didn't put in a full day's work. And I was 6 o'clock getting through and coming up here and rushing around and getting stuff ready to cook out here tonight. How does people that come in from work and sit down and don't do nothing, how they accomplish anything? I can't figure it out. Diana, that's what I was worried about. She kicked me out, keep the clone. Yeah, Philip, you're probably right. I'd probably be trying to do twice as much. I'd think, oh, there's two of me. Let's build a skyscraper out here, you know. I know what I'd do. I'd be like, you do this work, I'm going fishing. You get all this pottery made, I'll be back after a while. It's exactly what it happened. Yeah, Tommy, I'd probably get run off. RUNNOLT. They don't have gardens, no, sir. No, Marie, they don't have gardens. And they every time they got a problem, they call a professional. I was in this. Let me tell. I love this. I like telling it. I got in this homesteading group on Facebook. Some of y'all probably in it. I didn't stay in it too god awful long. It's full of the dumbest people. I don't know. I may even still be. I don't remember. I don't get on my personal page enough to know what groups I'm still associated with. They don't come across my feed anymore because I ain't never on it. Oh, but somebody would get on there and ask some question, you know, like, how do you do this? And they're, oh, you need to call a professional to do that. You don't need to be trying to do that. You need to call somebody that knows what they're doing. I'm like, this is a homesteading page. Do you know what homesteading is? This is when we try to do everything ourselves. We are the fixers. We are the Mr. Fix-It, Mr. Handyman, you know. I realize some folks don't need to be doing certain things, but you know, it's part of homesteading. You got to learn how if you're going to homestead. If you're going to, you know, we're going to live off this place and do everything. You can't call and pay somebody to, oh no, but most of them folks, you know, the light switch right here ain't working. I don't know what, let's call somebody to fix it. Well, not me, you know. Here I come out with an old flathead screwdriver, pull that cover off. You know, what's going on in there? The wire's loose. Where's the test light? Let's see, is that hot? No, this ain't hot. Something's wrong. I mean, you see what I'm saying? Then we go in there and flip the breaker off and go, all right, we're going to figure out what's wrong with this wire. People don't do that no more. Hey, if something goes awry, well, let's get the phone call. Hey, can you come fix this? I need this fixed, you know. I don't know. Can't do that. Oh, goat refuge and blackberries is getting big as the end of your finger out here. You know what I ought to do? I ain't thought about this, but I need to go along over there and I got a little bit of chicken fertilizer raked up over yonder. I ought to go sprinkle it. Might burn them up, though. I burned some tomatoes up. I hate to admit that, but I did. But it was because I put them out about this tall. The ones that was a little bigger handled it and are still doing fine. But some of them, it was real little. Man, they turned brown and started looking down at the dirt. And some of them, you know, have a moment of silence for they no longer with us. Might need to say a few words over some of them tomatoes. Well, anyway, you know what happened to them? Oh, chicken fertilizer was a mite hot for them. Somebody asked me, said, how long you need to let that lay there? I said, I don't know. Here's my deal. Most of what I put out, I had cleaned out of my chicken coops last year, and it had been sitting out there all winter getting rained in. I thought, well, it's watered down and washed, you know, weakened. It's probably all right. And probably was to some degree. But Jimmy Sullivan said them kind of folks keep him busy. He is a professional handyman and quite good at it. I see some pictures of some work he does. He does a good job. Him and Mr. Jimmy Glenn do some construction, carpentering work, and cabinet building and whatnot. Jimmy Glenn, trial and error, that's a lot like a difference in knowledge and wisdom. You see, knowledge you get out of a book. Knowledge is you know, you can get on the internet and you read about stuff, and that's knowledge. Wisdom is different. Wisdom is you sure about wisdom. Wisdom is, look, I can tell you some stuff that'll help you. And the way you get wisdom is by making a bunch of mistakes and realizing that don't work. And you know for a fact then, don't do this. I know it don't work. That's wisdom. Anyway, you know, what do I hunt? Right now I hunt cups of coffee. But in reality, I'll hunt about anything. Mainly my favorite hunting is squirrel hunting. Sometimes I like to dove hunt. I hadn't had a good dove hunt in years. I love to deer hunt. Don't really have a good place to deer hunt. I try to hunt in the swamp, but it ain't no. So I have just this week kind of procured me a place to bow hunt. I think I've got this fall a good place to bow hunt. I don't know if I'm gonna rifle hunt what all kind of hunting I'm gonna be able to do there. It's a small spot, but it could kind of be my spot where there ain't nobody else meddling around. So I think I've got me a good bow hunting spot, so we might be able to get us old nanny deer or something. And I may wind up hunting with a compound. I have really tried traditional archery, and I really love it, but I really ain't that good at it. I might get squared away where I get time to really start practicing now that maybe I got a place to bow hunt that I might can actually, get a shot at some deer. So, but I love to deer hunt. I love to squirrel hunt. I like to rabbit hunt. I like to hog hunt. We've got a good many wild pigs, but not a pile of them. But I'll probably, I don't know, that's probably about it. I'm not big on turkey hunting. I'm not against, turkey hunting is a lot of fun. Turkey hunting has a lot of competition. And deer hunting is getting that way. Deer hunting is fastly becoming about money. And I'm not, I don't do any hunting for bragging rights, for like trophies, which I don't really fish for trophies. I like to catch a big fish, but it's like us going up to Tom Bigby. I come back and I cleaned all the fish that we brought home. We cooked part of them while we was up there, just a few. And I come home and put the fish in the refrigerator right over there, and we're gonna cook all of them tomorrow night. And my brother and his wife and possibly his daughter and her husband and my sister and her husband are coming in. Me and my wife Brody and my daughter. I don't know if my daughter will be there. She probably will be working. And my mom and dad and all of us will get together over at the cabin and fry fish and eat. And that's kind of the way I hunt for food. If I kill a big buck with a big rack of horns, I'm proud of it. I'm like, I got a 12 point, I'm not going to the woods in search of the biggest buck down there. I'm there because I want the experience of hunting. So Brody needs some goats. He does need a goat. He needs a goat. To chase him around the yard and headbutt him in the rear end is what Brody needs. But anyway, I do love to hunt, and I want to do more black powder hunting this year. I didn't do much last year because when I go into the swamp, my chances is getting very limited down there of deer hunt. But we're going to order a barrel for the muzzleloader here probably before too awful long. And that may be my birthday present to me in June is order me, I don't know, I may order me a new flintlock and build it. I don't know. I'm definitely going to put a barrel on the rifle that I've got at the Thompson Center. And it's a Hawking Hunter. And I'm going to dial it in because I want to do my black powder hunting. That appeals to me, but I don't want to do that in a place that I have got so much competition. This swamp, it's just about out, you know. Once I get some meat procured and in the freezer, then I can relax and be like, okay, I can enjoy it. That's sort of like grinnell fishing. If I go down there and I ain't caught a grinnell yet, I'm like, we're working real hard trying to catch a grinnell. And after I've caught one or two, then I can relax and sort of enjoy trying different baits and such as this stuff. So he'll be 5, Diana. I don't know what the 4-H is right now. So Brenda, yeah, they're wild hogs here. Not a lot like there used to be. They keep them killed out in this managed area because it's public land, public hunting, and you can shoot them year round. Technically, you're supposed to be able to shoot them with weapons and loads legal for that year. Well, there's no hunt season through the summer, so I don't really know how they regulate that. I always got a 22 pistol with me. I don't think you're supposed to, but I also have a concealed carry permit, so you know, I'll have to figure that out. Glenn, there's a lot of deer here too. What it is they're on private people's land, and those people's got this bunch of deer on there. Well, all they gonna shoot's the one biggest buck on there, and oh, look at this buck I grew. And if he gets over on the neighbor's property they kill my buck, and they all worked up mad about it. But they won't thin out that herd of does. And them things is getting thick as the hair on a dog's back in places. But I'm going to tell you, one old boy that's fixing to thin his out. And that's these 2 or 3 that getting in my peas. I'm fixing to plant peas here next week. Now, I'm running a little behind, but I'm looking at the moon right up here. And we've just got past the new moon, and it has started growing. So I'm good with putting my peas in the ground now. I could have put them in the ground back when I was planting my other stuff before the full moon in April. It was warm enough. A lot of people planted. It would have been fine. Here's the thing. A lot of those people's peas still ain't but about this tall. I'll put mine in the ground, and in 3 days, they'll be up this tall. You watch what I'm telling you. Now, theirs will make before mine. No doubt. But mine will make more peas. I promise you. I done this 2 or 3 years. And tomatoes the same way. All them people that planted them tomatoes real early and wanted to have the first tomato, they'll get several tomatoes. I mean, they'll get a good many tomatoes. I ain't going to sit here and say they're going to get one tomato off a vine. That's it. But they won't near about make the tomatoes at what mine will wind up making now that I have waited this late in the year and got my plants. See, I've got some tomatoes I hadn't even transplanted down to the garden yet. I don't know. I wait till the ground gets warm enough to support. The problem you have is if you ain't careful, it'll get bad dry on your stuff. And I heard one guy say watermelons, you need to get them planted to get an early start on them so that they get done making before it gets bad hot because it'll stunt their growth when it gets hot. I don't know. I've never had good luck with watermelons. I ain't good at growing watermelons. I watched old Hoss at Hoss Tools do it. But we got a lot of deer in places here, just not a lot of on my property. But the 2 or 3 that's here is a problem. So when they start eating my peas up, that's when we're going to eat deer meat. My garden going to feed me one way or the other. Appalachian explorers, y'all headed to Tennessee. We was talking to the people up there at the campground about going to the Amish place up in Tennessee. They make one of them swings. It's made out of them logs. That's what I want to hang right here on one of these poles. I think it'd match out here really good so we can film live me sitting in one of them beautiful swings, and them Amish people make them. So anyway, Appalachian Explorers, good to see you. Glad you joined in tonight. Be safe. Good trip. Catch you next time. Well, let's see what else I have missed. You know, I have not had problems with rabbits, and we have a lot of rabbits here. I very seldom have a problem with rabbits eating anything. Unless they've eaten something that I didn't realize that's what eat it. I got some peppers that's been eat up, but I think they was bugs eat them up. In fact, I killed a little gray looking worm, cutworm or something, that I think was doing that. So I don't know. But Brenda, I'm with you on that. If I catch a rabbit in there, I put him in a stew pot. I ain't. Roscoe and them do keep your rabbits kind of run out of the yard. Roxanne more so than any of them. Roxanne's the one stays on patrol here. Roscoe, he pretty well will get in there and get his nose under some cover, and he's done. Roxanne, her mind won't let her lay down and be still long. She wants to get out here and patrol the yard. And I'm sure the coyotes is thinning our rabbits out. Lady Hammer, you already canning beans. You go, girl. I hadn't even built my cooker to can. I'm gonna can out here on this back porch this summer. This is where I'm gonna hang out all summer long. I like to get out here and cook and do whatever I'm gonna do. I got my refrigerator back here, and I'm gonna tell you one reason I'm gaining weight too. I done moved that refrigerator, and it ain't about 3 steps through that door to that refrigerator. I'm now closer to my outside refrigerator than I am the one in the kitchen. I can step out that back door, and it's got. I'm drinking a lot of. I say a lot of it. I really like it. I hadn't drank no heap of it, but I've got the cranberry juice. And I fill my glass up about this high, and then I got them little cans of pineapple juice, and I pour that over in there, and then put a little bit of lemon juice in there with it, mix it up. Man, that is fine. But I drink that as a fruit juice. I just like the flavor of it, and but I've stepped out there and I've drank too many Coca-Cola. Well, Diet Mountain Dews is what I've been drinking. I gotta get off them. Yeah, Tommy, Roxanne worries about them rabbits getting close to her buggy now. When I went and got on the tractor and was disking out here, I left my buggy sitting over yonder at the shop where the tractor was, and she laid right there under it the whole time, scared somebody was gonna bar it. Jimmy Glenn, you know a rabbit would make good dumplings, but now here's my problem, and this is where y'all fixing to crucify me. Y'all don't get mad at me when I say this. Now, please. I'm Southern. I promise I'm Southern. I'm as country as a turnip green. Y'all, I ain't crazy about dumplings. My brother and sister loves them, and they can't understand why I don't like them, and I'm going to tell you why I don't like dumplings. You could take the same ingredients, and I could have fried chicken and biscuit and gravy, and you made dumplings. I know a lot of y'all love dumplings. Y'all don't get mad at me. I don't care if you love them. I can eat them. With enough Tony Satchers, I can eat them. But this thing... Yeah, Tommy, that cranberry juice, and that is why I started drinking it. I needed to flush a lot of my kidneys out. I've got an uncle that has a lot of kidney stone problems, and I hope I don't inherit none of that. Now, my daddy has never had trouble with them. His brother has. And I don't want to have to fight that, so I drank heavy alcohol for a long time, but one thing is I drank enough coffee, so the goldenrod helps flush your kidneys and all that kidney gravel out. So I drank the goldenrod tea a good bit, but I hadn't been drinking a lot of it lately. And so I drank in this time of year when it's hot, I'll drink more cranberry juice and stuff than I do goldenrod tea. I guess is what my trade off is. Oh, here comes that army man. Come here, first mate.
Don't call me that.
Don't call you that? Oh, you're not the first mate no more?
I'm both.
You both? You
Yeah.
the captain and the first mate, ain't you?
Yeah.
I'm just a pilot. You know who else was a pilot?
Who?
Marcel Ledbetter was a pilot. You want me to tell you about him being a pilot?
Yeah.
Well, him and old Ben D. Lauder, you know, they was in the putwood hauling business. Times got hard and they got laid off. Well, they went down and told them, said, y'all go down to the unemployment office. Marcel said, no, sir. Said, I ain't want no handout. Said, I ain't taking no handout. I said, Marcel, go down there to the unemployment office and they won't give you a handout, but it's for people like you and they'll help find you a job and they'll give you a little bit just till you can find work, and then it ain't no handout. It's just a little bit of help. Marcel said, I don't want no money. Said, I ain't taking no handout from nobody, but he said, if they'll help me get a job, said, I'll go down there. So him and old Ben D. Lauder went down there.
Farm.
Listen. They went into the unemployment office and they took old Marcel back there and she said, lady asked him, said, sir, said, what is your occupation? He said, I'm a pulpwood cutter. He said, in a good one. And she said, well, said, we're going to have to put you on the list over there. She said, we got all the pulpwood cutters we need. She said, they just ain't no market for pulpwood right now. She said, but we'll keep your name on the list, and if there is a job opening that comes available, we'll give you a call. So he come out of there. They called back there Ben D. Lauder. And old Ben went back there, and she said, sir, what is your occupation? He said, I'm a pilot. She said, oh, said, that's good news. He said, I've got good news for you. She said, we'll have you to work next week. She said, we are in need of pilots. It's such a skilled occupation. Old Ben come out of the office with a smile on his face. Marcel said, what you smiling about? He said, they said they'd have me to work, said next week. Marcel got fighting mad, swelled up, chest poked out, lip poked out in front of him. He run back there. He said, I don't understand. Said, you told me that you didn't have any work for me. She said, we don't. He said, well, he can't work less I work. She said, but he's such a skilled occupation. She said, we need pilots. He said, yes, said, he's a pilot. Said, and as good a man as I ever worked with, as good a pilot as I ever seen. But said, you don't understand. He can't work unless I work. I've got to cut up the pulpwood before he can pilot. Philip, it's funny you asked that today, but Brody's got a mashed toe as we speak. I did not rock on it. He rocked on it himself. Over at his nana's, he was playing on the rocking chair, hanging on the arm of it, flopping around, and rocked on his own toe and mashed it pretty good. So, yeah, Brody knows about the rocking chair now. He's got wisdom about it now. We'll call it that. How long has it been since y'all heard that Jerry Clower tale? I just happened to think about that one. I ain't heard it in a while. Jerome Williams, yeah, it was a car light behind us back there last week. Tommy said it takes a rare talent to rock on your own, too. He mashed his pretty good. He was hopping around, wouldn't let him touch it, put a shoe on it this morning. I think he done got over it now, though, because he's been running around barefooted, and he ain't mentioned it, so he's toughening up. Where can I get goldenrod tea? John Thomas asked. I dry my own goldenrod and I store it in bags and then I crumble it up and I've got bags upon bags of goldenrod and I have been supposed to send some to people and for whatever reason I have yet to get it mailed out. Miss Mary is probably gonna strangle me because I promised to send her some and some hillbilly potato leaf seeds this year and I never did pack them up and send them to her. Forgot about it. I'm just now thinking about it as we sit here and speak. Well, anyway. Can I see the north? No, I can't see no northern lights. All I can see is a wall of pine trees, Jimmy. Are they out tonight? Is it tonight that we're supposed to be able to see them? I don't know. There's kind of a light haze out there. Are they right now when you're supposed to be looking at the northern lights? How many of y'all can go look to the north right now and see northern lights? Raise your hand. You, and you. What about you way over in the back? Yeah. Jimmy Sullivan. Jimmy Glenn said, Jimmy, you know that is a casino. Y'all, the reason what they talking about, I know y'all don't know. We got the Golden Moon and the Silver Star Casino out here. Well, on top of the Silver Star, when they first built it, they put these spotlights up. And they was like, I don't know, 5 or 6 of them. And they danced around in the pattern of a star up there. And man, they looked like Batman, call him Batman. Them things went to moving around. And man, there's people around here when they first turned them things on thought the Lord was coming back. I remember they was calling each other, y'all see them lights in the sky? It was, you can only imagine, y'all. Just let your imagination run wild. It went on. I mean, they thought it was UFOs, aliens, man. Them folks, and this has been way back there when they was building this. It's in like the early 2000s. Meth was just getting popular back then. Some of them things, man, they saw boogers. So anyway, that's what they talk about when they say it's a casino. I mean, they was the brightest Q-beams you ever seen. You could have shined a deer 2 or 3 miles of that thing. And when it was cloudy up there, they had hit them clouds, when that beam of light was, yeah. Northern Lights in Michigan. Mudcat season. They were beautiful pink and reddish. Yeah, Jerome Williams, they stomped that fire slam out. I mean, the fire, it was dry back in, and the fire, they said if a building caught fire, it is just gone. It hadn't rained in months. And they was all gathered up down there, building was burning. Man, folks, they didn't have no water to tote, folks just standing around watching the building burn, and here come the Ledbetter, seen the smoke, and they was all on that old truck. A whole bunch of them was hanging off the sides. All of them was on it. Ardell, Burnell, Raynell, WL, Annell, Odell, Udell, Marcel, Claude, and Eugene, and Clovis. And up here driving Uncle Verse and Aunt Pet sitting up front. They come driving down there, and the crowd kind of parted because they was coming pretty fast. And said they just drove right on up in the middle of the burning building and said they got out and went to flopping and a stomping and jerking overhaul jumpers off and a whooping. Said Aunt Pet had her bunny a flopping it, go and stomp over here, a stomp over there, get over here. And said, man, they flat stomped the fire out. Put it slam out. Said, man, the folks went to cheering and saving. Said they done saved these folks' building, all except the front door, where they drove a truck up in it. Said, man, the Ledbetters is heroes. And they took up a collection for them and took up $31. That was a lot of money back then. And said they took it past the hat, said they got the money and they give it to Uncle Verse and said, Ledbetter, said, y'all are heroes. Said, we took up this money, said, here's $31. And said they give it to Uncle Verse. Said, now you mind telling us, said, what you gonna do with the money now? He said, Uncle Verse said, well, said the first thing I'm gonna do is get the brakes fixed on that old truck. Jimmy Glenn, he's out there in his drawers checking to see if he can see the northern lights. Somebody will fly a drone up there and see if they can look, see. Lady Hammer, I don't know if the flowers are all falling off. Now the flowers disappear as it starts putting berries on. You'll see as the flower falls off, is there a little small berry, like a little bitty BB looking ball behind it? It may be as the flowers fall. Now if the whole clump, stem and all is breaking off and falling off, but now as it starts producing the fruit, the bloom has to fall off, and that white bloom will turn from white to a green patch there. Well, Jimmy Glenn, you have done seen the northern lights. We can see them down here in Mississippi, y'all. Brenda, I hadn't heard that. Stand outside naked so the satellite flies over and takes your temperature. They'll be diagnosed everybody with COVID again. Yeah, you stand out there naked very long, I ain't gonna touch that one. I'm gonna let that one pass. There's probably kids watching. Yeah. Jimmy Glenn, you just seen Knox of Pater up there. They got a new store with a sign flashing, I think, up there at Woody's. Oh, Lord. Well, y'all. It is already 9:41. Where has the time gone to tonight? Jason McAllister said he sees them. They must be out tonight, y'all. I hadn't know. You know, the last time, it's been several years ago, we saw them good one night here. I can't remember how many years ago it was. It's been quite a number of years ago. And it was like a red haze is all it was. We didn't know what it was. Found out 2 or 3 days later, you know, that that was before the internet was hugely popular. It wasn't all that Facebook and all in. Found out it was the Northern Lights, and I guess that's kind of what it is now. But I had seen on Facebook that they were going to be Northern Lights, but I didn't. Solar storm coming. Brenda Coates, we don't have no mosquitoes here. I'm real close to the swamp, but we got piles of martins, and they put a damper on the mosquitoes. If you ain't hanging up martin gourds or martin houses around your place, I encourage you to do so, because they do help with the mosquitoes tremendously. I don't have much. I tell you what I am gonna do. I'm gonna add me one of them big blue bug zappers out here. That's gonna be my entertainment. I gotta get me a bug zapper. Yeah. That's kind of fun. Now, if you ain't sit there and watch them big June bugs sit up there and go zzz, 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 and that smoke coming up off of them and them pretty blue lights, yeah, that's some fun right there now. And Brenda, I ain't far from this swamp. In fact, I'm sitting here listening to frogs in that duck pond back there right now. Donnie Hill, good night, brother. All right, I was reading the where's this comment? Mudcat, coronal mass ejection. Another guy watching on YouTube acts like the world's gonna shut down. Guess I'll find out how honest he is tomorrow. Yeah, that's like them preachers that come out and say the Lord's coming back on this date, and all them dates has done went by, and we still, you know. Anytime somebody really nails down something like they got a date and, or a person, that's like saying Obama's the Antichrist. I didn't really like the man, but he was better than what we got now. But, there's some folks saying that his name and all this stuff is something to do with the devil. When you start naming people, you get, you're taking a big chance there, because, what if you're wrong, and you might be right. I ain't saying they are wrong, but, that's one of the reasons I don't get on here and talk about Revelations a whole lot. There's some things that I feel strongly about in Revelations, and I think, this means this, but it's hard to teach stuff you ain't sure about, just because I think, well, this is going to happen like this. I don't know that it is, it's just a good guess if you want to know the truth. That trying to predict stuff and prophesy, if I start telling you something's going to happen like this, you're going to well know I heard from the Lord. I'm going to be like Moses come down off Sinai. My face is going to be glowing when I tell you. You got to be careful with that stuff. Yeah, Tommy, it's like they don't read the Bible much. Well, we skipped that scripture. They the same ones up there preaching, telling folks, oh, you can live like you want to. Just tell Jesus you love him and you'll be all right. Kind of feel like that might not be the truth there. Come on. Brenda said she was thinking about making some bat houses. Now, we do have bats as well. I don't have a bat house, but every evening I can look up and see 5 or 6 bats just flopping all around everywhere. A few chimney sweeps. All of these birds eat insects. The birds that I have the biggest problem with is blue jays around here. They the ones working on my apple trees and my peach trees and such. I may wind up having to get the shed of them. I quit putting up bird houses. I'll put up martin houses, but I ain't building no more bird houses. It invites too many welfare recipients. They come here and then they want all my fruit. Well, I'm more than happy to build them a house to get in out of the rain, but I don't intend for them to eat all my fruit up. But they think they're supposed to. So I had to start doing away with the welfare housing around here for the birds. Well, Mudcat, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't worry about it. We've talked about some of this a good bit here. It's hard to sit here and predict, like we saying, what's going to happen. Don't none of us know. Don't nobody know what's going to happen. I will tell you this, times is going to get hard. Now, how they going to get that way, I don't know. But I do feel like in my spirit, times is going to get hard. Number one, the Bible says pretty clear in some Revelation stuff that there'll be a tribulation period. Now, he may come get us before that happens. Possible. We may live through every bit of it. Possible. I don't know. I just know hard times is going to come to some people here on earth. So, whether I'm here or not, it's going to be beside the point. I know it's coming because the Bible says it is. It says there's going to be a tribulation period. The next thing is the Bible said there's going to be great revival. Well, great revival don't come until people realize they need God. And people don't need God as long as they got plenty of money, plenty of intelligence, good doctors, good insurance, a fat bankroll, and they got every good education. We got everything we need. We got the internet. We got, what? I don't need God for nothing. What? Do you really? Now think about it. They actually need God. They just don't think they do. Let's be clear about it. So, what do they need God to do for them? If I get sick, I got a good doctor. I got insurance to help pay for it. If I get in a financial bind, I got a good banker. I got a good education. I got a good job. I can just about with money solve all of my problems. Them people don't need God for nothing. My grandpa, on the other hand, he walked outside and stood on the front porch at seeds he put in the ground out there. No way to irrigate it, no way to do nothing. And he had to stand there and talk to the Lord. Lord, I need you to make it rain on this crop, because that's my money right there. That cotton that I have planted is the only way I got to pay my bills. I borrowed money to put that seed in the ground and buy shoes for my young'uns this fall. I need that crop to grow, and I need it to rain. And that's needing God. And people don't need God no more. And we're going to have to go back to a place in life where people come outside in the morning and stand on their porch and look up at heaven and say, Lord, I need you to do this for me today, or else I ain't going to make it. And that's what we're going to have to get back to. And when we get back to there, we'll have great revival in this nation. Because people going to realize that they need God, and all these foo-foo people out here running around that don't think God exists and they don't need God for nothing is going to call on the name of the Lord. They're going to say, Lord, we need you to be merciful to us. I realize that you really up there, and I need you. That's what I say happens. So anyway. Ken, good night. Yep, the Bible says take no thought. What you'll eat, what you'll drink, what you'll wear. He said, I'll take care of all of it if you'll trust him. A lot of it, though, is everybody talks about this relationship with the Lord, but they don't really trust him. They say they like God, they say they love God, but they all the time they trying to fix their own problem over here instead of saying, God, I need you to handle this, and then go on about life. I try really, y'all, I really, honest to God, try not to worry about stuff. It's like, I'll give you a good example today. Today. I got on that buggy before we left to go up yonder and it was making a god-awful racket when I parked it before we left to go Monday. I run them bait lines the last time, and I pulled it up under the carport. Lisa was staying here while we were gone. She didn't want to go with us, so I said, look, don't get on this buggy and ride it. I said, something's wrong with it. It's making a god-awful racket. When I went to park it, the brake went to the floor. It didn't have no brakes, I didn't know what was wrong. I got on it yesterday and rode over to get the tractor and hauled that straw back over here, and it was growling. I mean, rah, 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 rah. I said, man, this thing is fixed. I mean, it was making me mad. I just, I'm sick of working on the thing. Oh, well, I'll fix it. I'll figure something out. I mean, I just parked it over there and went on and done what I had to do, went on and made pottery. Today I got on it and I went over there and got the tractor and disc, and when I come back from the tractor, I pulled it around there and I said, well, I'm finna pull the wheel off. In fact, I done went in there. I said, the brake pads has got to be replaced on it. And I went on and ordered brake pads for the thing on Amazon. I don't need to be ordering no more parts on Amazon. But anyway, I went ahead and ordered brake pads. I said, I know the back one is wore slam out. I had seen it. The disc got little pads on them discs. I said, I need them anyway. I had thought that one of the brake pads had done wore slam out and was scrubbing against the rotor was what was making racket. I said, well, I'm fixing to pull it apart to see. Well, when I jacked it up, the tire went to flopping like this, and I said, Lord help, that's a bearing gone out. Well, I ain't been worried about it. I mean, I ain't. I said, well, you know, it's time to tear it apart and see what I got to do to fix it. Well, guess what? It happened to be the bearing that I had one of left over. I put the bearing in it, buggy's back like a brand new one today. For how long, I don't know, but that is an example. You know what, Lord? The Lord just took care of the problem. I had to put the work in. I had to put the bearing in there, but he did let it be the one that I already had a part to fix it, and I was able to put the thing together. And now, you know, if I want to go fishing tomorrow, I got a buggy to go to the swamp tomorrow. And I didn't worry myself not one bit this week over that thing. Now, I thought about it a couple times ago, man, that burns me up. But I hadn't been, you know, sitting here worrying and going, oh, man, what am I going to do? You know, that's kind of an example of how this works. It don't mean you're going to sit back and prop your feet up and everything's just going to be all right. We're going to have to put forth some effort. You know, it's going to get tough on us. We're going to be working hard, but God said, I'll give you what you need. I'll take care of your needs. May not get everything we want. You know, I asked for a camp house on the Tombigbee River. I stood up there last year and said, Lord, I want a camp house up here. I'll use it for the right thing. And I feel like if he tarries, that I'll get it. He'll give it to me one day. But I bet I have to go up there and work and build it, and I bet I have to make arrangements to pay. I mean, it ain't going to just be free. I don't mind. If it is, well, it'll be a miracle. But, you know, it's kind of the way it is. I asked for this house right here one time. Tell y'all this story. I told somebody here not long ago, but we had one of them faith preachers come through back many years ago. I was still living in a single wide trailer. It was falling apart. I was sick of living in it. And the preacher was talking about faith. He said, dream big. You know, I asked God for what you want. I said, you know, okay, all right. How much faith have I got? You know, I said, well, God, I want a house. I'm sick of living in this trailer. I want a house, but I don't just want a house. While I'm asking, I want a house I don't owe nothing on. I want a paid-for house. I want one that I ain't got to make payments on the rest of my life. 10, 15 years went by. Well, no, it wasn't that long. About 10 years. About 10 years went by. And I looked up one day, and I'm living in this house that I paid off. I don't owe a dime on this house. It ain't the fanciest house. There's 2,000 square foot walled up, heated and cooled. It's plenty for what I need, and I don't owe a dime on it. I built it with my own two hands, but every time I needed material, all of a sudden there it was. A lady called one day, said, here, I got this barn needs tearing down. You interested in this barn wood? Yes, ma'am. I was at a job site one day, and there was a building back there full of lumber, rough cut lumber of all different kinds. Hey, man, what you want for that lumber? Battery dying. He said, I don't know, you know, what do you give me for it? I said, $2,000. He said, it's been back there a while. I said, well, I'll go look. He said, you better look at it. I looked at it. I said, well, what about $1,500? He said, if you happy, I am. I said, all right. I hauled 4 gooseneck trailer loads of lumber out of that building. $1,500. That's what's all through the whole inside of my house. All across the front porch. All that poplar. God blessed me every time I turn around. Whole metal tin, all the ceilings is off of a house a tornado tore the roof off of. And the tin was still good, just had some hail damage, and some of it on one side was bent up, we threw it away. I put it all through all the house. Still got some of it left down there. Every time I needed something, God made it come available blessed me with it. I had to do all the work. I had to build it with my own hands, but I've got what I asked for. God has blessed me, and he'll do that for you. And that's part of what learning to trust God is. You know what? If it's something you need, God will give it to you. He may not give you a new Ferrari. You know, you probably ain't got no business with one, number one. You know, he probably ain't gonna give you, you know, something you don't need that's not good for you. But if it's something legitimately that you need that's good for you, God will give it to you. He don't expect you to do without and be a beggar and a pauper, but he wants you to be humble. So, Brenda, good night. I'm reading through comment. I get sidetracked, y'all, when I get. Well, y'all, it is 10 o'clock. Y'all about ready to go to bed? I need to cut this off so some of y'all can get some sleep. Some of y'all will stay with me all night long. I know you would. I appreciate it too. Uncle Sasquatch said he's going to call it. Uncle Sasquatch, thank you for joining in and staying with us all night. And I hope you get to feeling better. I know you're feeling a lot better since you're home from the hospital. Y'all continue to keep Uncle Sasquatch in your prayers. And I can't remember now who was it a while ago said they were in the emergency room. I'm scrolling back. I don't know if I'll ever find it. Somebody said they was in the ER. Let me find this. Now I'm scrolling back through. If somebody can remember the name, put it up here. Oh. Y'all, my memory is I think it's Sean Hawkins. Yeah, Sean Hawkins is in the ER, chest pains and stuff. Keep them in your prayers. Keep Miss Diana in your prayers. I mean, Miss Jenny. Miss Jenny Blair, keep her in your prayers, y'all. She's struggling this week and buried her husband last week. So let's continue to pray for these people. And y'all, we've got a lot that is sick. Prayer requests on here. People been fighting cancer. People fighting medical. A lot of people on here that has not told everybody on YouTube what's going on in their life that I know personally are fighting with some issues, health issues. Just pray for these people. Pray for the how do we call them, the prayer request. We call them an unspoken prayer request. There we go. Miss Cindy said she had an unspoken prayer request. Pray for these people, y'all. God knows these needs, and there's a lot of times, I'm going to be honest with y'all, I lay in the bed and I go, God, you see every one of these requests I have got through YouTube, and there's no way that I can remember every name. But God, you see every one of them names, and I pray, God, you move in every family, in every home, in every heart, every sickness, every cancer, every injury, every accident, every family situation, every marriage problem. God, you see every bit of it. And you see those people that have reached out for prayer, and God, I pray their prayers is answered. I pray, God, you reach down and touch them. And that's sometimes the way I pray it, because I'm going to be honest with y'all, I'm human. There's no way I can remember every name and sit there and call out every name. I wish I could, and when I think of them, I do. And I don't pray, all night long for being, it ain't like I'm this great prayer warrior. But I do trust God. And the big thing is I want to push everybody to pray. I want a whole network of people on here praying for people, because the Bible says where 2 or 3 are gathered together, touching any one thing, it shall be done. Then it talks about a threefold cord is not easily broken. When there's 3 people praying for something, it's stronger. He said if one can put 1,000 to flight, 2 can put 10,000 to flight. See, I like God's math. 2 and 2 don't just make 4. 2 and 2 makes 8 or 10 or 20. It just multiplies. So the more of us that's praying for people, the more God will do for them. And I believe in the power of prayer, y'all. That being said, thank all of you for joining in tonight, hanging with us all night. I know these lives get long. They get 3 hours. And, you know, nobody has to watch all of it if they don't want to. But I do appreciate all of you that get on here and stay all night. I really do appreciate it. I love all of you. I pray that every one of you are blessed. I pray that you get everything you want. Not just what you need. I hope you get what you want. So anyway, thank y'all for joining in tonight. All of you. Remember, we'll see you next time. Brody, come here. He come running out the back door. Tell them, say the best way to do things. The way you like to do it.
Yeah.
We'll see y'all. Y'all have a good one. All right, let's turn the camera off.